Good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing? What's going on? Welcome to episode 7 of Merchants of Novigrad, a bi-weekly podcast where we discuss everything Gwent. Today with me is my trusty co-host and longtime friend, Lionheart. And as you guys have probably noticed, this week we have not one, but two guests, two amazing yet very different content creators, TheaBeasty and Zaid95. How are you doing, guys?
Great.
Yeah, great as well.
Before we actually start, a few words for our viewers. Guys, if you have any questions, you can ask them in chat. My dear friend Lionheart has been charged with the task of collecting the more interesting ones, and we are going to try to answer them as we go. Also, if you want to stay in touch off stream, you can follow us on Twitter at Novigrad Podcast, and if YouTube is the platform where you would rather watch the episode, it's going to be uploaded on my YouTube channel in a couple of hours. So, yeah, guys. First segment, what have you been up to?
Very wide question.
It is. You don't necessarily have to talk about Gwent. It can be about anything. Also, your real life. If you have any big real life announcements, go ahead.
Cool. I'll take it first.
You can begin. Yeah, Zaid.
All right, I'll go. What's been going on? I mean, there's a lot going on. Streaming, Gwent has been going really well, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, a bit more. But apart from that, I've been making YouTube videos and doing just a lot of editing stuff. I moved into this new apartment like a month ago, so that's been pretty cool. Just there's still stuff like all over the floor, but it's feeling pretty good. And apart from that, not much else. Just on the grind, really, which can be tough, but rewarding too if you can pull it off.
Yeah, I can imagine. Actually, that was yesterday or 2 days ago. You posted your 10k sub video on YouTube.
Wow.
Yesterday for you, today for me.
Yeah.
Time zones.
How did that go?
Great, actually. And the video, I think, turned out good. Those kinds of videos you never expect to get nearly as many views, and it's not going to. Like a normal video would probably be a couple of thousand by now, and that's at like 200. So it's not made for views. It's just one of those things. You kind of make it for fun, and yeah, it was fun getting all the questions, and I polled the Discord and YouTube and stuff, and yeah, there's a lot of great questions. It was good to be able to just like you talk to people on Discord and on like the Twitch stream and stuff, but a lot of the people on YouTube you don't get kind of like not a direct, but like a semi-direct like line of communication. So it was nice to have some questions and just kind of answer them and chill out, and yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it's more of an appreciation video where
yeah,
your long-time subscribers can ask some probably more personal questions. Especially, it's YouTube. It's not like Twitch where you can ask those questions live and it kind of forces the streamer to answer. YouTube comments, you can basically ignore them for the most part if you wish to do so. So this kind of video definitely gives your audience the chance to ask more personal questions. And
yeah, you can kind of think about the answers more too. Like just have to.
Oh yeah, they are being sent beforehand. Obviously, I'm still thinking about the Twitch mindset. Comes
nice to have some time to prepare.
Yeah, when you are streaming, you don't have the time to think. Do I want to answer this question? Do I want to ignore it? Here, you get the chance to see all those questions beforehand, so you obviously pick the ones that suited you the most. And yeah, I was already going to ask. Thea, how are you doing? What's the reason behind being all dressed up for our podcast?
Being what? Sorry, I couldn't
all dressed up.
Well, seeing that our co-host is always in the I thought it was compulsory at this point. Turns out it isn't. I'm not going to dress in any other way. I prefer this now.
I told you it's better. Yeah, it's definitely better.
Exactly. But with life, yeah, I'm currently still writing my law exams. Need to pass those and get into honors for psychology. Yeah, so we have about 2 left, and then we're going to stream full time for about 2 months. Yeah, finish the Thronebreaker stream. People been hammering.
Yeah, I've heard people are very excited about the Thronebreaker stream.
Oh yes, tremendously.
I can imagine it's a great game.
It is, right? I'm just a bit late to the party, but apparently there's an entire an entire section for that on Twitch, but I prefer to stream on Gwent because nobody's going to find you.
I can imagine why. As a matter of fact, I don't want to go into the details, but before we started this podcast, there was like a very first test call that we made, and we didn't want the viewers to see it, so we actually streamed in the Thronebreaker category, so that nobody could ever watch it.
I actually didn't know this.
That was before you joined the team.
Ah, okay.
And Lionheart,
That's funny.
how are things going for you, my man?
Very good. Yeah, very good. I've been off work for 2 weeks, mostly off work anyway, which means you've all had to suffer through my streams for 2 solid weeks. It's been amazing, actually. It's been really good fun. Just mostly Gwent. We completed the Outer Worlds as well, which was fantastic. The world's greatest Yeet simulator. It was so much fun. We had a great time with that. And it was good to have something different that wasn't Gwent in to sort of mix it up a little bit. But no, been having really good fun, enjoying Gwent. I am now going back to work on Monday, so I'm dealing with the joys of that. But generally, yeah, all good. Can't complain. Just in the preparation now for Christmas.
You said that you were streaming Gwent. How is Gwent on Twitch right now for you? Because actually, a lot of people are somewhat on the fence about streaming Gwent at this very moment.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm having a blast with it. I'm really enjoying streaming Gwent right now. Maybe that's because there's less people streaming, maybe, so it's easier to gain traction and there are new people coming into the channel all the time. We're getting new players come in and ask questions, and the chat are always really helpful, because in general, the Gwent community is quite helpful to new players. I've taken to, when I finish streaming, obviously everyone hosts someone else or raids someone else. I then tend to try and find a new player streaming, because there have actually been a few very new players streaming and dropping into their channel for an hour just to chat and watch them play. And I always seem to find 4, 5, 6 other Gwent players doing the same thing, which is really nice, trying to bring new people to Gwent and try and keep them, more importantly. So yeah, honestly, I've actually really enjoyed streaming Gwent. I'm not good at the game, as anyone who's watched me will tell you, but I spend most of my time talking to chat and ignoring the game, but I have fun with it. That's all that matters.
You mentioned new players, and I think a very good place to learn about Gwent, learn about the history of Gwent for new players was the anniversary quiz. Zaid, can you tell us something more about that? That was, I think, a month ago?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. That was fun, actually. That must have been about a month ago, or a few weeks ago. That was a good time. I actually completely forgot that that happened.
It did happen, and it gained quite a lot of traction.
Yeah, and it was a really good time, actually. A lot of setup went into it. I was very nervous because I did a lot of the production stuff, like in the background, like all the scenes and stuff, and I was like very nervous that something would break and explode. And I actually made a technical difficulty screen, and I had it on this big button. I'm like, okay, if anything goes wrong, just slam this button. It mutes everyone. It like destroys everything. It just has a big photo of Geralt's face. It just said technical difficulty.
If you watched the Chernobyl show, you know that the big button is not always the one you want to hit.
No. Well, luckily I didn't have to hit it, so I didn't have to find out. No, it went smoothly.
One thing that I really enjoyed about the show is how, I'm not sure if that was intended, but you actually got people from all the 3 major teams on the show, and that was something that seldom happens.
Yeah, and it wasn't intentional, but it.
How did you do it? Did you just approach them, or did you approach teams, or?
Yeah, we just approached people. We kind of had a list of people we would have liked to get on the show, and yeah, a couple of people. Someone pulled out, I think, and there were a couple of people we couldn't get, and it kind of ended up that we were able to just get through all 3 of the major teams like on board, and we kind of just before we went live, we're like, wait, hold on, we've got all 3. That's kind of cool. And I was going to make a joke about it, and but I didn't. It's someone's expense, and you could probably guess who.
Speaking of jokes, Zade95.
Oh yeah.
And where did that come from?
Oh man, I had no idea. Like because Twig normally goes live when I'm in bed. It's like middle of the night, and I woke up and I had like a few ats in the R02's of Discord, like bagging on me for having this hilarious name. I don't know how that came out. Actually, apparently that's the Polish pronunciation. So
maybe Buzia was jebaited into believing that you are Polish.
It's possible. It's very possible.
Like Pavel, if you are in the chat,
I'm
please
just
clarify.
Happy I was there. I'm just happy to be there. It was pretty cool to
Yeah,
be
it's
on
amazing to be
to
featured.
get the name on Twig. I was like,
Oh yeah,
dude, I don't care. Call me whatever you want.
yeah. We can
I will
actually
ask
relate
Steve,
because
just-
before
yeah.
one of the episodes, we got a shout out on Twig as well, and I wasn't even aware. And at some point, I was just sitting at the desk, and I was getting all those mentions on Discord. I was like, what is going on, guys? And then the podcast got a shout out on Twig, and that's like the next step of being recognized by CDPR, I guess.
Makes sense.
So we didn't know we were going to be on Twig or anything. We kind of hoped that we would be, because we were trying to sort out some prizes and stuff, and it just ended up that we were there. So
they
then we
never
got a
mention it.
message
They never
from
give you a
Lava,
heads up.
which was cool.
Yeah,
We
they just do it,
actually
don't they?
hoped to get a mention like when we announced the podcast for the first time. It didn't happen. So then we thought, okay, we got Pavel. So maybe right before the podcast, he's gonna mention that in Twig. He didn't, and he didn't mention that after the episode. So we actually gave up. And then a couple of weeks later, when we had Tailbot, they finally recognized that we exist.
Nice.
And it was a great film.
That's always good.
Congrats.
But yeah, making this kind of projects always takes a lot of time. So how do you actually deal with it? Because I imagine all of you have real life responsibilities.
Just a few.
Yeah, this one or two.
Yeah.
How do you manage to stream, to work on other projects? We know that you have actually 2 YouTube channels. How do you guys manage to stream, do all the other projects at the same time, and deal with real life responsibilities?
With difficulty.
Just avoid sleep. It tends to work for me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it depends on how you classify Gwent, right? Because people, I like Trinate classifies it as his job, where I would classify it as a competitive hobby, right? So it gets difficult to juggle real life with that, I'd say. Yeah,
True.
depends where your priorities lie, I guess.
Gwent or death.
Yeah.
For me, I like scheduling a lot of it. So apart from today, and I know Kung Fu Rabbit's in chat, he'll probably call me out that I slept in this morning. Happens to everyone. It's fine. But normally, the normal schedule, I classify my stream as work, and I'll stream for 4 hours or 5 hours. And then I've got YouTube to do, and I do video editing and graphic design for another streamer on a full-time basis. And more just random freelance jobs, and then the other YouTube channel for Gwent, and then obviously just life in general. So there's a lot of stuff to work into a schedule. It tends to how I do it is I'll just have a day where it's okay, this day is YouTube, and the after the stream, and the next day is editing after the stream, and the next day is stream stuff after the stream, and it just kind of works into whatever is needs to be done right now. And then the next day it's okay, and this needs to be done right now, and it just goes like that forever, really.
I wish I did that,
because
of course I only release weekly YouTube videos, but still they never release on the same day. Once it's Monday, the other time it's Friday, because I always wake up with the idea, okay, I'm gonna stream, then I'm gonna work on the video, or I'm gonna prepare the podcast, and then after I had my coffee, it never happens. It's kind of how it works for me. But one thing that I really want to ask Tia is, because you said you are in the middle of your exam session.
Yes.
When I was in a similar position, I would not be able to even talk about Gwent. I would just completely leave the community for the duration of the exams. How do you deal with this? So
you want to know how I manage it? Well, okay, again, it's how you classify it, right? So at the moment, I barely have time for any social interaction outside of my studies, which is problematic, right? It's not healthy. So I decided to start to play Gwent again and grow a community, which happened. And right now, I don't see it as a source of income, because it isn't, but rather a community. And in all honesty, I don't get time to go out at the moment, not in my studies. So I make time for Gwent, and Gwent is the replacement of that. And it's working. It really is working.
That's good to hear, because when we are making this show, we always have a problem of scheduling everything, because people have responsibilities, and one of our hosts tend to work 70 hours a week. So it's always the question: is he gonna be available that Saturday?
Yeah, I honestly can't believe I've been available for more than 2 in a row. I think this is the third now.
This is the third
I
one.
genuinely thought I'd make 2.
And
in
we
the
already
original.
know that you are probably going to be there for the next one.
I actually will be there for the next one. I will be coming straight from work. I will have been working from 2 a.m. that day, but I will be here, I promise.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just need to pray to Mother Nature for no floods.
Yeah. No, it'll be snow this time. Actually, it looks worryingly white outside, actually. Oh, God. Snow's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Winter is finally here. Boo.
Not over here. It's like 30-degree days, right?
Yeah, it's all right for you two guys.
Same.
Yeah, no, I don't want it. So can we do the podcast from where you two are? Can I just travel? It would be a lot nicer for me.
We could swap, actually. I much prefer the cold, so we can just
Same.
switch it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Trade.
I think it's a grass greener on the other side type of thing, though. I think we'll both die in the cold. We're not
Possibly.
accustomed to it.
And the ginger guy looking for heat doesn't make any sense. So.
But yeah, it's actually the first time we have guests and hosts from 3 different continents. It never happened before.
Worldwide podcast.
Yeah,
Very much so.
it's now Merchants of Novigrad worldwide because until now we only had a couple of episodes, the Trinet one and the MacBeard/Flake one, when we had people from North America and Europe, and now we have Europe, Africa, and what continent is actually New Zealand on? It's Oceania, it's Australia. It's a touchy issue, I think.
We don't get a continent. We just get an island.
Just sub-Australia.
You be careful now. You watch it. You watch it. Buddy.
I think your
Australia?
relationship.
Kung Fu Rabbit.
I think your relationship with Australia is can be compared to that between Britain and Europe. Like
Yeah,
Britain is
possibly.
technically
Not that
part of
bad.
Europe, but they don't consider themselves part of Europe.
Yeah, for no sensible reason.
Whereas New Zealand is definitely not a part of Australia.
Definitely, 100%.
Nope. Mm-mm. But
Guys, if we have any
Australia, then they'll be
if we have any scientists in chat, please clarify.
Sciences.
And
yeah.
I actually want to go back for a moment because Tia, you said you wanted to build a community. How hard is it to focus on your exams if your stream is booming?
Very difficult because we have to study the entire day, every day until this is done, and then we have the night to stream, and we need our sleep, right? So it's difficult when you have 12 people in the chat versus suddenly 100. I feel I have a responsibility then not to end the stream, and I don't want to end the stream either. So that's quite difficult. I have given up on some studying time, but I find it to be worth it. Unless I fail now, then it might not be.
You always get a second chance.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure about you, but that's how things did at my uni. People often skipped exams just thinking, I still have the second chance. And if not this year, I still have the next year.
Great advice.
Yeah, we have first opportunities and second, and I only second opportunities with that logic. So if I fail now, we used our second chance.
If you fail now, then chat Thea is gonna be looking for a job. McDonald's will do.
Oh no, I think we'll just go full-time Gwent then.
Wow.
See how that works out.
Might be actually worth it.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, you guys said you have an amazing time streaming Gwent. Well, the overall viewership is kind of plummeting. Like, I had a hard time finding my niche. I finally started streaming Arena for the first time since Homecoming, and I enjoy it immensely. Like, Arena is just so much fun right now.
Arena's great.
I only wish it gave daily crowns. It doesn't, but it's not like I really need those points. It's just so fun to play, especially if
It is fun.
Yeah.
especially if you are dealing with a stale meta and dropping viewership. And is that something that make you kind of struggle with streaming? Like if you know that the overall viewership is down by a significant margin, how do you find motivation to stream Gwent in a situation like that?
I mean, it's ideally you just do the same thing, right? Like you just, because I know about you guys, but I make quite a point to try and not look at the viewers, like the amount of viewers, because it can really affect your mental state, like to more of a degree than most people would probably think.
Yeah.
Like you just have a look, like you have a little peek, and it's like half of what you thought, and like, oh god, like you're just so demoralized, and it really takes it out of you.
Yeah,
So I
I
think it's a bit of
also.
that.
Sorry, you want to continue, Zaid?
Sorry, I was going to say it's a bit of that, like, not, just try to keep it the same, and if you do well, then the people will come, right? And
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think everyone will agree, right? It's quality over quantity, although it's very difficult to take that in. But so I stopped looking at the numbers a while back, and I'll search for names every time I stream. And if I see the casuals, I'm quite happy. Only if they are in the chat, really. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah. I genuinely never look at my view account. I'm not fussed.
Yeah, me neither.
Honestly, I think it's a bad idea.
I have this bad habit of checking it afterwards. Like how did it go, and what was the peak viewership, and for how
Stream summary.
like a summary. I tend to look at these stats, and I probably shouldn't. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but Flake published an article on that a while ago about these struggles between, like, you want to stream full time, and then you look at the numbers, and it completely demotivates you to continue doing what you intended to do. So I do not recommend looking at your viewership at any given point. Just don't do it. And what Thea is doing is very smart. Like, if you have those 2-3 casuals, like, let's say regulars in your chat, you know you're set. You know the stream is gonna be amazing. Like, for me personally, if guys like Baby Joseph and Brazil show up, I know I'm gonna have an amazing stream. Because even if I only have 2 viewers, I have 2 amazing viewers, and that's what counts.
Yeah, it's definitely the community that makes the experience, I think. There are people who, as soon as I turn on, and there are people in the chat, it makes a difference, and I know I enjoy myself a lot more. And obviously I'm in a different situation. I'm not a full-time creator. I have so much respect for the people who manage to do that every day, because I couldn't not look at the numbers then, and I would drive to chase those numbers because it's how I am. But if I've got certain people in the channel, I tend to find I enjoy myself more, therefore the stream's more enjoyable. So it sort of snowballs, right?
Yeah, definitely when I'm in your chat, because everyone knows that I'm the beacon of optimism and positivity.
The beacon of positivity. That is
yes.
how you are known in the community. But
yeah,
Maria's okay, we'll move on.
It's the Novigrad optimism. Everyone knows that. A very friendly and nation known for its hospitality.
No.
But yeah, there is one touchy subject. Like, when we're talking about what you've been up to, there's one touchy subject that I kind of want to talk about, and that's other games. And we are slowly getting into the second Zaid YouTube channel territory.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Guys, have you been playing other games? Because I noticed that some, maybe even most content creators are playing other games. We know that Trinet is playing a lot of Battlegrounds. We know that I think Shamir was playing something different. Pumpkin was playing something different. Like, I see a lot of big names playing Legends of Runeterra or Battlegrounds or Teppen. I think a lot of people are playing Teppen right now. I'm not sure if it's sponsored, because I know that Flake said he's playing Teppen, but it's sponsored streams.
Yeah.
Guys, have you been playing different games recently? Anything you would recommend to a Gwent veteran who is struggling with playing Gwent right now?
Yes, Gwent. I would recommend Gwent.
Have you tried Gwent Arena?
Thronebreaker even. Honestly, there are people who haven't played it. It really helps.
That's Thronebreaker is definitely there. It should be on the list.
Yes, definitely.
Any RTS games maybe, Zaid? I think that's your field of expertise.
I like to think so.
Yeah, can you tell us about your low-key second YouTube channel nobody knows about?
Yeah, no one's heard of it. To back it up a bit for other games, like I want to see if other people have this like mentality, because it's I feel like if you're a viewer, not to be like, ooh, viewers don't get it, but like, I find it tough to, as like someone who's trying to grow in Gwent, right? Like, Gwent's like my game, right? As is a lot of people who just primarily stream a lot of Gwent, and I feel if I play anything else, I feel like real bad. I'm like, I shouldn't be playing this. Like, I'm here to like grow my community and like have a productive stream. Like, I shouldn't be playing like
it's betrayal.
Like, yeah, or it's just like I feel like it's not doing me any favors, right? Like, people aren't there for that, and also like it's not I feel like it's cheating. It's like I'm not growing the stream at all. I feel like that's very tough. But I found a nice medium where I occasionally play Dark Souls every week, maybe once or twice a week.
Nice, yeah. Casual Dark Souls, is that a thing?
Yeah, I'm very slowly playing through it.
Yeah.
It actually tends to work. It's a weird crossover, but so that's kind of the only other game I really ever play on stream is Dark Souls. But outside of streaming, I do play RTSs. I have a YouTube channel where I review old games. There's a focus on RTS games. So I play whatever game I'm reviewing for YouTube at the time.
What does RTS stand for, Zaid? Sorry, I know RPG.
Real-time strategy, like Age of Empires and
right.
that kind of stuff. Yeah,
I need
Okay.
an RTS to play. I haven't played an RTS since the Command and Conquer days, really. Oh, good times.
Ooh.
I know, it's been a while.
Have you checked out youtube.com/Zaid_95? You might find some good RTS games.
Well, you know what?
I just published a
actually
video on the top 5 upcoming RTS games. Just saying.
Yeah, I think the last RDS I played was Dawn of War 2.
Oh,
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I used to be a huge Warhammer guy. Not only 40k, but Warhammer Fantasy Battle. I think it's been now replaced by Age of Sigmar. Like, it's a completely new version of the game. I used to play a lot of Warhammer roleplay as well. That was like way before the Witcher games were even a thing. I'm that old.
Please.
Am I older than you? Don't say that.
In before Gulo enters chat.
Uncle, where are you?
Uncle Gulo, where are you, my friend?
Uncle's asleep.
Yeah, personally, I've been playing a lot of Path of Exile as of late.
I heard you say
PoE.
Yeah,
Path Exile.
and it's something I tend to do. It's the game I've been playing for such a long time that coming back always feels great, especially if there's a new expansion and a lot of great news. And we are just 2 weeks after the ExileCon, where they announced Path of Exile 2 and the next couple of expansions and a lot of new things. And it really motivated me to go back to the game. And I intend to stream it every now and then, but I have the same problems Zaid has. I kind of feel
comment on your problems?
Sure. I actually kind of think like that way. Like, you are also the app. You are like.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, what I find is I usually go from Gwent and then without ending the stream go to a different game. So I bring them with me. But what I also like to do is starting with a different game, usually co-oping with Lionheart, and then bringing them to Gwent. And in that way, we get more people in the Gwent community, right? It goes both ways.
Sneaky like this.
Yeah. So, I mean, because not enough people know about Gwent, really, or they hated Gwent in The Witcher for who knows what reason. And they didn't realize... Yeah, they didn't realize it's a game on its own. And, I've gotten some people to join Gwent. So I think it's a good idea to do that. At least it makes you feel better. Keep telling yourself you bring people to Gwent.
Sure, yeah.
We need more players, definitely.
Yeah, when you said that you wanted to comment on my problems, it really reminded me of essentially every shrink scene in the movie. Like Thea also did that, and she needs a notepad or something. Tell me about your problems.
That's the psychologist in me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely the psychologist in me. I apologize. If you want to know how to get away with murder, we can talk about that on a different podcast sometime.
Off stream, maybe.
Off stream,
yeah.
And taken down.
For murdering your opponent in Gwent, of course.
Of course, yeah.
I can't help with that one.
Triple bribery.
When we are talking about other games and kind of feeling guilty for playing them on stream or even off stream at the expense of Gwent, how do you feel about the community outlash when it comes to the Flake tweet? Like he said something like it's been 72 days since the Challenger, and that's it. Like that was the tweet. There was no additional comment. And then somebody made a Reddit post and they were basically lashing out on Flake, saying things like, "Oh, why does he even care? He's playing Teppen or he's playing Magic or some other or Overwatch. I think he's casting other games." How do you feel about community doing things like that or saying things like that when streamers try to play different things?
I found that quite frustrating actually because Flake wasn't being critical of Gwent by saying that he you can see how passionate he is for Gwent. He's always loved Gwent. Anyone who knows Flake or has watched Flake stream or watched him cast knows how much he cares about the game. It wasn't a comment on, I hate Gwent, boo, I'm playing other stuff. It was, I'm playing other stuff because I haven't got Gwent. And I think I saw some clarification. I don't do Reddit very often. And people eventually sort of turned a little bit, but I don't know. People are either, some people are very Gwent or die. And hey, I love Gwent. I'm 100% one of those. But if the content creator has nothing to do or they're bored, they're not going to enjoy it. Personally, I like that diversity. I want to see other people.
Yeah,
I'll see
right.
what that says.
You need a healthy content creator, otherwise he'll just end up stopping Gwent cold turkey, and you don't want that. You need a bit of diversity, I'd say.
I think also too, like when it comes to community reactions and outrages, like someone posts like a 7-word tweet, like just let it go. You know, I think people just need to like just chill out a bit. It's like it's a tweet. It's funny. It doesn't really mean anything. Like just move on.
I think it all comes down to the fact that there is simply no news whatsoever, and people are just sitting there and waiting for someone to say something about Gwent. Like you could see that Moligin posted something and Busha posted a rather unfortunate GIF, and all hell broke loose.
Yeah. Wasn't the smartest response.
Yeah, you see that on numerous occasions. Like somebody just says something or posts something, and people are just so hungry for any kind of Gwent-related news. They are just ready to go ham and say whatever they have on their mind.
Yeah.
Which actually brings us to the next segment, which is what's happening in Gwent.
Yeah.
Get ready for the positivity, guys.
Okay, yeah. That's
Is there a question mark into that sentence?
Yeah. One thing that I noticed that it's happening quite a lot is card creation, and there's apparently like a card creation tournament. So like people get an incentive to design new cards. I know that some people complain about that. I know that some people were very negative about, there's only custom cards on Reddit. But I actually enjoy them. Like most of them are really nice. Even if one thing that I never understood is like why people complain about balance. It's only a design contest. Like why do you care about balance? Like this card is not in the game. Of course, it would be much different if it was in the game. But I definitely appreciate people just taking their time to design stuff like that. Have you ever tried?
It's awesome.
Designing your own cards or your own expansion, maybe?
I haven't. When I was a big Hearthstone guy, I think I made one custom Hearthstone card.
Oh,
that's not the thing you want to say on the Gwent podcast.
Hey, I just gotta say,
guys, we're gonna mute it on YouTube. It's not gonna be there on YouTube.
We'll be right back.
That part is not gonna be there.
I'm just gone. We come back. I'm gone. What I was gonna say is that Hearthstone has a very flourishing custom card community, and I think it's really cool, right? And people really get into it, and it's like its own thing, and I think it's just healthy for the game, right? So I think Gwent would very much benefit from having a similar thing where people just get into it and they make crazy stuff, and like it doesn't have to be balanced because it's not a thing, right? And then they like having a huge community making cards, even if they're just completely random and off the wall, insane, like developers could then look at that and be like, that's cool, like we never thought of that, it's such a cool idea, let's take it and tweak it and make it not completely broken, and then like put it in an expansion and be like, hey, this is like a community card that we kind of tweaked. And I think that's just another way to get like devs and community members like closer together and talking to each other. So I think it's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, any kind of content creation is a good thing, right? If it's supporting the game, any traction can only be good, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
go on, Thea.
Like, okay, so I love being devil's advocate. I'm trying to imagine why someone would not like that. I can just think that maybe creating another dwarf or Francesca or something like that could trigger someone. Maybe it might inspire the Gwent creators to implement that card in the future, But like you said, it's not actually part of the game. It's just for like the graphic design, right? We don't focus on the points or anything, right?
I mean, the ability has to be there, but it doesn't need to be balanced because it's just an idea.
It's just fun, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's just an idea for a new ability. Things like that need tweaking. It's not like, okay, this is coming to the game in this very version, it's like somebody designed an ability, showed it in a custom card. And sometimes people go to really great lengths to design multiple cards. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but there was an NL expansion. Like somebody, because you can see that a lot of people complain about Wild Hunt not being an archetype, and there's always that group of people who say, but they are just elves. They are just different elves. They are not monsters at all. They shouldn't be even in the faction. And somebody just took that very to himself and designed a complete NL faction with 50-60 cards at least.
That's amazing.
Great. I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, there was at least 2 versions of it.
Hire them now.
That's really great. I mean, it's not like Fallout 76 where they'll ban him for doing that. It's okay. We're not
So you
talking
play a game
about
too much? See ya.
Yeah, how dare you try and fix our completely broken game?
Exactly. Yeah, we should encourage it, right? The more people we can get involved. And it's like we talked before the podcast, right? We're just going exponentially like this. I mean, that's really good for Gwent. Maybe not in terms of viewerships, but in terms of developing the game. And I read somewhere there's even more challenges coming. They're trying to make it a monthly thing in the near future. I mean, I know the viewership skyrocketed after the challenger the other day. It skyrocketed. I went from 20 viewers to like 200, and now it's back again. But I mean, it's people who weren't watching Gwent. It's people who were trying to get into Challenger, because the moment you have healthy competition, you get a lot more people playing the game. So, yeah.
Everything's just rollover, right? Like Challenger brings people, just like you said, like into the game, and they maybe want to get competitive themselves, and custom cards like all have rollover. Like now suddenly you've got YouTubers being like, I'm going to make a YouTube video on like the 10 coolest custom cards, and then you've got, and maybe it's from like a big creator does that, then the dev sees that and they're like, oh, these are cool. Like, it's just everything just rolls over into each other, and I don't think there's any reason to say that more of that is a bad thing. It's great.
Yeah, but I have to say, any kind of CDPR activity, whether it's YouTube or Twitch, always brings a lot of new people and viewers to Gwent. Like, do you guys remember Round of Gwent? That was in the beta days.
That's before my time.
So let me explain. Round of Gwent. I'm not sure if that was supposed to be a weekly show or bi-weekly show. It was a show held at the CDPR studio in Warsaw, Poland. They had Ash Cosplay being as the host, and they had usually another content creator. I remember an episode with Swim, who's also not playing Gwent anymore, and Paweł Buzia was there, and I think Luigi was there. So it was like 2 developers, 2 content creators, and they were talking about Gwent, and the show had a lot of cool segments. One of those segments was, I think, Beyond the Frame, where they had one of the storytellers at CDPR, like all doing some sort of like crazy alchemist cosplay, and explaining the lore behind certain cards. I remember an episode about Burna Brand and stuff like that. That was really, really cool. People loved this kind of initiatives, and now we kind of don't get them anymore. Like, even if there is a new expansion, they, I remember, even when Midwinter was announced or any other expansion, regardless of whether or not these expansions were good or not, they did streams, like, one stream every couple of days where they reviewed a couple of cards, talk about the idea behind the card, talk about the new mechanics, explain everything in detail. I think those things were very, very popular, and now we are not getting them anymore. It's just a simple video. Okay, you're getting expansion, period. That's it.
Yeah, the need to build hype. They've tried to involve the community with allowing us to do card reveals instead, right? Well, us. I haven't. I think Zaid, you got one last time, I think, right?
I ticked my box. That was it.
Great.
I suppose they're trying to include us in that, which I like, but the hype that it built, having those little continual feed of information from them, it built that hype. I mean, we discussed it with PoE. There's new content dropping, it naturally brings people back to the game. There's information, but if you don't know there's new content, you don't come back.
I think there's a world where both can exist for sure.
Yes.
Like we have Twig, right? Twig is, correct me if I'm wrong, like the only regular like developer content, right, that comes out, and it's not a lot, right? It's like a minute of
90 seconds
of news, basically. Like just something like any like developer contact is always going to be appreciated by people who play your game, just because you just interact with them, and especially if it's on like something like Twitch where you can just ask questions. Like I play Sea of Thieves, the pirate game, and they have like a developer stream every week, and it's like 3 hours long, and they were just asking questions for like 3 hours every single week, and they have like 12-minute long developer updates every week, and it's really good. And people, it's a really good way to just connect with the developers and hear new stuff, and it just makes them seem more human as well, which I think is quite important.
Do you guys think that they might be focusing on keeping the Gwent community and not bringing in new members? Because it seems like they aren't doing much to promote Gwent, but rather to develop Gwent to keep us here. You know what I'm saying? I feel like The Witcher 3 was sort of a lifeline for Gwent, and because people aren't really playing that anymore and they're waiting for Cyberpunk, people aren't really getting into Gwent anymore.
We've just had the iOS release, and that brought in thousands
of
new players.
Okay, you are correct.
But I agree with your statement. For a very long time, the influx of new players was somewhat bound to the sales of The Witcher 3, because that's how people usually discovered Gwent.
Yeah.
Like, personally, I wouldn't even know about Gwent. That was back in the beta days, and I played The Witcher 3. I played Gwent in The Witcher 3. I was not aware of any kind of standalone. I didn't get any kind of email. I didn't see any kind of ads. Incidentally, I was watching a Path of Exile stream where the streamer was talking about Gwent, and they said there's closed beta now, so if you like The Witcher 3, you can apply, and maybe you will get a key to the closed beta. And I did, and I got the key, and I played the closed beta of Gwent, which is amazing, but there was no marketing whatsoever. It was just word of mouth, basically. Someone heard it somewhere, and then it was on them to promote it further. And I think we've been doing that for a very long time now. Yeah,
this is definitely a lack of outside marketing. Like, the amount of times I can count seeing like a pre-roll YouTube ad of like a Gwent anything was maybe like twice when Iron Judgment came out. I got like 2 pre-rolls, and I've had like 1 email being like, "Hey, Iron Judgment's out." And that's it.
Crimson Curse was somewhat advertised. That was the only expansion that was somewhat marketed.
I didn't see a single ad for it, to be fair.
No. Though, to be fair, I didn't really play Gwent.
They did streams, and they were, I think, on the top page of Twitch, and there were some ads here and there, but not that many. Like, for the most part, I think that the announcements they make are meant for the existing community.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I rarely see things that target new players. Like, of course, we have iOS, and they probably did a massive campaign there. I just don't know, because I don't have an iOS device, so I actually have no idea. Can you guys comment on that? Does any of you have an iPhone or
I have an iPad.
You have an iPad. Like, did you get any emails, any ads, anything that promoted Gwent?
Only once I had signed up to be in the closed beta, I got an email. But outside of that, I don't think I got anything. I might have seen something on the App Store once, but only because I purposely went to games on the App Store and be like, I wonder if Gwent's on here yet.
Same.
And apart from that, not really.
Although its reviews are incredible. It's the top reviewed card game. It's gone really well. It's 4.8 out of 5 stars at the moment, and the traction it's gained, considering I haven't seen any advertisement either, has been incredible. I know CDPR, it beat their expectations, because I know there was a lot riding on iOS and it being successful. And even by their own admission, it feels like it's gone very well, the iOS release. It's just about now. The number of new players is amazing. That's great. And they've tried to spend a lot of the work in the background, it seems, changing the new player experience to make it more engaging, which is a result the current community hasn't felt any benefit from. But hopefully it will lead to retaining some of those players so that the community itself grows.
It's actually very good. I made a second account to try it out.
So
it's very good. Yeah.
I think we all have to admit that the iOS release have been very, very smooth. One argument against mobile release was always that it's gonna be at the expense of PC/console Gwent. And as a matter of fact, they did it in a very reasonable fashion. Like, Gwent is probably in a Did I say something wrong? Like,
no, you said console Gwent. It's I can't believe it's still a thing.
It is. It actually is. But the point being, they released on iOS at the moment where Gwent is probably the most balanced it's ever been. Like, of course, it might be a little bit stale for us content creators, but I think if you are a new player, you couldn't start playing Gwent at a better moment.
I'd agree.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true. And it does make sense. You want a stabilized meta. You want every archetype being at least somewhat viable, even if it's just a climb, even if not at pro rank. And we really are in that place right now. We've all complained about it being stale to us, like you've just said. But as a new player with a new account, it's actually really enjoyable to play Gwent.
And affordable. Affordable as well. I mean, you get most of the cards to create one faction and go from there. It's a good deal, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so.
Extremely. Yeah.
And it's drawn in considerable revenue into CDPR as well. Gwent has improved financially year on year, which I was stunned by before the iOS release. It made 25% more revenue than it did the previous year, which I can't believe, but actually was. iOS, it's huge, isn't it? It's a huge jump. And that's pre-iOS, pre-Iron Judgment. The first month of iOS was responsible for 68% of Gwent's revenue, which means we just tripled Gwent's revenue in a month. Straight away, like that, through iOS. That's
They're
crazy.
doing something right, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
really
we're
working.
talking about lack of initiatives and lack of marketing and lack of CDPR based projects. And the reason that was often mentioned was lack of budget. They didn't have the resources to do that. But now I think that with the iOS release and the Android release around the corner, I really hope there's gonna be some more CDPR.
Cash is just falling in. Don't know what to do with it all.
CDPR as a company is in a very good position right now, trust me.
Yeah.
Very.
Their financial statement is looking very tidy. It's a good time to invest if you're looking to buy shares, trust me.
Yeah, Merchants of Novigrad living up to their name.
Yeah, damn right. Please do not take that as financial advice. I don't want to be sued. But
I'll
yes, I did
see you in
buy some
court.
myself.
Really?
CDPR share merchant.
Yeah, I bought some CDPR shares.
Interesting.
I've
I'll
always
take
been
my
too nervous to
Bitcoin
buy
shares
shares.
Yeah,
and switch it up.
definitely. Well, if you think it's a good time, they've just spent a large amount of revenue. So their balance sheet is the lowest it's been because they've spent all this money developing Cyberpunk, developing Gwent. Next year, they've got all of the profit coming in from that. So the shares will naturally increase.
Oh, yeah.
Less expenditure, more income.
Cyberpunk is going to be absolutely massive. And if Gwent gets featured in any form or shape, even as an ad or a poster somewhere in game,
anything,
that's going to
just
be
put a
huge for the
poster in
Gwent
the
community.
background.
Cyber Gwent.
Oh,
Regular Gwent with a few extra cards, right?
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
Amazing.
you
Just
could
got laser
possibly
eyes.
do it. Like,
Yeah.
you could design cards based on Cyberpunk. Like, you don't need to really go out of your way. You can, design a card based on the fact that Ciri went to the Cyberpunk universe in The Witcher 3. That's a piece of lore for you, right?
It's amazing.
And she was there with Avalak, and Wild Hunt was there as well. So, like, you already have a couple of themes that you could go with when designing cards that somehow relate to Cyberpunk.
Yeah, we need a breathtaking
Imagine
faction.
just walking through Cyberpunk and Eridan just strolls in and just cuts something in half and then walks off. Wouldn't that be
Hands
great?
you a deck of cards. Play Gwent. And just
Yeah, and
Game closes,
obviously
window
you'll have
opens.
a lot of people saying, but Cyberpunk is a completely different universe. They have guns in there and stuff like that, machine guns. And I'm like, dude, just play Gwen and watch Morgvark. It's a machine gun already. Like, we already have this. It's nothing new, really.
Imagine hating the one good card in Skellige.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's an amazing card. I love the art. I love the voice lines, and that freaking AK sound effect, top notch. Morgvark is great,
Amazing.
especially if you roll it off bribery.
Oh,
Sorry, I had to say it.
Easy.
Easy.
no.
So, but yeah, no. Going back to the iOS release, it has been really successful, and the fact that they have the development in alpha stage for the Android, they've said that it's being released Q1 next year. In the CEO of CDPR discussed that when they were discussing their financials. So I think we're all hoping for it a little sooner, and I'm guessing we'll get some sort of announcement in the roadmap. Fingers crossed. But that's their current plan to expand that, because iOS is a really small audience comparative to Android. So if they can release that on Android devices and gain even the same traction, that's going to be huge for player influx into Gwent. That's going to be massive.
Can you imagine? Damn.
I heard a stat somewhere that like 70% of the people who play Hearthstone play on mobile, which is just insane.
Is that really true? That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's convenient,
Don't
right?
quote me on it, but like I'm pretty sure I heard something similar to that a couple of years ago. Which I believe,
might
you
be
know,
true,
like
yeah.
I pretty much always played it on my phone. Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you? You know,
You know a lot about Hearthstone.
I played it for years, every day for years. You know, you
Wow.
pick up-
Just stabbing him right in the back. When the viewers, when everyone thought the viewers already forgot about the previous Hearthstone mention.
So,
Yeah.
who didn't know about Hearthstone?
If it helps, Zaid, guilty admission, I also played it for 2 years pretty solidly.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing on this podcast?
Merchants of
Alright,
Gadget Zan is taking over.
Let's
ladies and
go,
gentlemen.
Hearthstone podcast. Hey, you guys play Battlegrounds? It's pretty
No.
good.
Oh, you know what? No, I can't go that far.
I think this would be a perfect moment for trying to host us.
He's already here and he's already in.
Okay, I didn't know that. I don't want chat.
No, that's my job. Don't worry.
But when we talk about Android release and iOS release, and the Gwent the financial situation of the game, I think there is like really a lack of monetization options in the game. Like they could do so many things. We discussed them with Lionheart in our in a call a couple of days ago, and I think it's a good moment to discuss them with you guys. Like for example, one idea that I've been throwing around quite a lot is alternate art. I think people would pay a lot to get like alternate art for certain cards.
Yeah, I'm a bit. Do you mean just for like regular cards?
Yeah, it's for example, you have certain golds and you have alternate art that you can buy in store.
Like, can you elaborate
sure.
on alternate art? Sorry,
Yeah.
like
Just the artwork, just the artwork of a card. For example, you have Geralt of Rivia, with the sword and whatnot, and then you get like a different art.
Okay.
Given
I
It
really
wouldn't
sure
give you
can
any
see
kind
with
of
that.
edge, but it will be just cosmetic.
It just kind of means like, you say you're new to, like we talk about a lot of new people to the game, right? Like now you have two versions of the same card, and it's just like another way to be like is this card different? And it's just like another. I don't know. I feel like it would just like
Create
the
confusion.
card should be the card, right? And then
I am confusion.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Lord Bushhook tweeted an idea about how you could perhaps do that. I think Overwatch borders, like, there's no, what's the word? There's no auxiliary progression in Gwent. There's pro rank or bust. Whereas a lot of people don't play to be professional. They play to be collectors, or they play to. Like, I've got more scraps, more kegs, more dust than I could ever use, and I've got a complete collection already. What am I doing with that stuff? Nothing. If you could, we could already premium cards. If you could premium the borders, or you could make slight tweaks to them to give the collector side of Gwent perhaps more.
Yeah.
Whether that could be an idea, maybe.
Just massive resource dumps. They just cost like so much, but it's like, oh, I got like a little star on my cards or something.
Anything. Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, that guy's a baller.
Yeah. But we've all played games consistently where we see players in other games who have those kind of things. When you come up against someone, I know we've got the prestige system. Like when I come up against someone with a 10 gold prestige, I think, wow, you've played a lot of Gwent. I can't believe how committed you are. But to have that other than just a single banner would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, we have iron ore, and I forgot what the green dust was. What do you call
Meteor
that again?
powder.
That's it.
Yeah. So I mean, they literally sell those. So just so you can make your card move. I mean, that could be implemented in different ways, I guess. If people are willing to buy it. I mean, there's a Black Friday special right now. It's 50% off for the powder. I mean, people are buying
Hashtag
it.
sponsored. Yeah, and hopefully
Always.
people are buying it. Because the premium
Yeah,
versions of some of the art is stunning.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The work that goes into it, amazing.
I would
think
say if
leader
there's
models are the
one
easiest
thing
one.
that
Leader models, I
somehow
agree.
convince players to give it a try, then it's gonna be the overall artwork. Like the boards are amazing. Like, the overall vibe of the game is great. Cards are absolutely beautiful, and the art is very mature. It's not like the other card games where I personally I don't really see that much of a difference between Midgard and Hearthstone and Teppen and whatnot. But then you have Gwent with its very dark and mature theme, and that definitely stands out on the market.
Yeah, the design is
Definitely.
very it's the most beautiful version of a card game, I think.
Agree.
Yeah, but when it comes to monetization, we had I had some really crazy ideas. For example, we instead of selling complete boards, you could just sell decorations. So you get like a base board, and then you sell decorations like a stash or some sort of treasure, or some sort of armor rack. Things that you can put on the board as you please.
That's a great idea.
That you can
Good
interact
job,
with.
Weisenbad. That's a great idea. You should sell it to them.
Pavel, if you're watching,
You can have it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that could be, yeah. Yeah, there are actually quite a few ideas. If you go into that, you can have your own, and then you can put your card. I don't even know what I'm saying. But if you can put more things on your board, you can implement that. A bit of more creative output.
I'd love to have a treasure cache that you could actually click. I would happily fill that cache with dust that my opponent can steal very willingly. You can take some of my scraps if you click on this.
There's so many
really
options.
cool.
Like leader models are just like the easiest because they're so cool, and there's a ton that you can do emotes. Like you buy emotes, and they're like really crazy emotes, or like
new voice lines and things like that.
Yeah, just different, or like you can maybe customize existing models. Like give Calvita sick like golden sword, or like
exactly. Equipables, like things like pieces of armor or weapon you can equip
that'd be awesome.
your leader with.
Yeah,
of course, more skins. We need the Witcher 3 characters.
Yes.
As leader skins. We need Gary of Nivea. We need Triss. We need Yennefer. We need Ciri. All of them.
Completely.
Just dump all of them. Just everything.
I think
just give us one new one a month. You'll make a fortune. Radovid Africa sold so well.
Oh yeah, Radovid Africa is.
It made so much money from
example
one leader skin. Like, please keep giving this. I will give you my money.
Especially if you are a new player, because if you started playing Gwent because you knew the game from The Witcher 3, having a leader skin that somehow refers to the game, to The Witcher 3, is gonna be amazing. And a lot of people are looking for Geralt and Yennefer, the most notable characters from the Witcher series.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And we already have the tones. Like we have all the emotes because they were in the beta.
Yeah,
true.
It's just a matter of implementing them.
And it's like leader models from Thronebreaker. Just bring them over.
Oh yeah, exactly.
100%.
Yeah, maybe. Can you just imagine everything we'd be able to implement after Cyberpunk, right? All the new characters. Like a lot of potential. Well, we'll leave it to CBR.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves, leader model win.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I want breathtaking. I want to hear Geralt say, "You're breathtaking." I would pay for that voice line.
You play the card, you're breathtaking.
That's one thing I wish Gwent had was like if you played like a relevant card to someone else's leader, if it had a custom voice line.
Yes.
Is it? Why can't Gwent have it? You know what I'm saying? That'd just be
it
cool.
Actually is a really nice function, isn't it? That's great. That you really appreciate as a player. You go, oh, that's actually really cool. I've played this.
And they're like super niche. Like some of them you just like never experience this really weird opportunity. It's like, wait. You just say something different, like you just play like Siri, and they're using like the Eridan model, and she did something cool. Like that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And one idea that kind of surfaced during the beta was to give cards custom audio, because people feel like it's very bland. Like you play gold card, and there's a voice line, and that's just the gold card sound, like a bing, and that's it, right? And people actually went to great lengths to design stuff like that. And I remember Naglfar being shown, and you play Naglfar and you have that all those sea waves and whatnot, like a wind and trumpets and whatnot, like big massive effect, like just in your face. It's Naglfar. It's a very strong card. It's super relevant for the lore, and you kind of get to see it.
That's on the list, right? Sort of. I mean.
Yeah, in the last roadmap, they made some changes to that because all cards made the same noise originally.
Yeah,
but it could definitely be expanded upon. It's like Trebuchet makes a slightly different noise than if you play a person, but it could hugely have. Yeah, there could be big expansion.
How? And then just make alternates and sell them.
Yeah,
It's easy. It's like we're giving you a license to print money. Just start printing it.
Because. If you are running a free to play game like this, you have to pump these MTX. Like you have to make tons of them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
Just something new.
Yeah, people are willing to pay, so go for it.
It can be anything. There's so many things you could play around with in Gwent. Not only cards and card backs. They are great, but they are just not enough. And I think that's the problem, because I'm not gonna buy a card back because, for instance, I'm not gonna see it. Like my opponent's gonna see it, but I'm not gonna see it.
Yeah.
Like, you want something that you are gonna see on the regular.
But also your opponent, because you got to flex on them.
Oh
yeah, exactly.
Of course,
like the bragging rights and whatnot.
Yeah. Do you not know who I am?
That's why Radovid Africa is such a good skin.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, exactly. Bradford, Africa.
I bought it within 30 seconds.
Literally the first thing I did when it came out, and purchase.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
Have my money.
There you go.
I need to.
Definitely.
Like, imagine if they had that tier like every one a month,
Oh.
one every 2 weeks. Like, they just rake it in.
Yeah, they'd clean up. I'd pay for a subscription service. Just give me them all.
$15 a month. Get all the new skins.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea that the Lionheart put forward, that you could somehow share your resources with your viewers.
What I wouldn't give.
I feel like... I'm not sure how many streamers would be willing to do that, but... You know, if you somehow made use of the partners program to promote the game, like, it's a free resource. Like, you have 150, 160 people being a Gwent partner. Just make use of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the big streamers, you can look at their streams, they have so many kegs and so many and everything. They'd be more than happy to do that, and people will watch. Obviously, it will get more people to watch, I think.
If you've already got the complete collection, there's no purpose to having them. I've got 432 kegs, and I have the complete collection. What am I going to do with them? They just sit there.
Yeah, I think there's an issue to be said with that you could quite easily destroy your economy with so many people having so many resources.
Okay.
So overall, I wouldn't think it's a good idea. But what they should do is give an opportunity for me to say, like, okay, I'm going to buy 5 kegs, and instead of putting them on my account, give me like a code or like some way to share it in game, and you could only share ones that you'd bought with real money or something, as to not have like someone with 10,000 kegs and be like, I'm going to give them to everyone. It's still a good idea.
Yeah.
But,
we could give other things as well, bring it into the game. We don't know yet, but I mean, if you extra customization, things that don't cost money, but maybe you can only get it through watching streams. For all we know, people would watch the streams.
Yeah, they did that originally, didn't they? The Keen Observer title. You could only get it by watching the stream.
Oh yeah. I think mine is also a Avid Watcher or something like that.
That's from
Keen
the
Observer.
Challenger.
Yeah.
That's from tournaments.
From what?
For the tournaments. If you watch a tournament...
Keen Observer?
Yeah, it's from the tournaments. If you watch like a couple of hours of Gwent Open or Challenger, you get the title.
Yeah, it was 5 hours you had to watch.
That's weird, because I got it in beta. I've never watched a tournament before that. Really weird.
I think the one you got in beta was Pioneer. That was
well, not the one I have.
Closed beta was Pioneer, that's for sure.
That was if you played it.
That's the ultimate flex. Because so few people played then.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
I played closed beta even for maybe 2 weeks. Like I got in like at the very end, and I still got the title.
Yeah, I got into closed beta and I didn't load it, so I don't have the Pioneer title.
Because you were playing Hearthstone.
No, I was working.
Karma.
I know.
But I would really like to see CDPR somehow motivating content creators to engage in Gwent-related projects, because we don't really see that often. Like, there's only one project that's been going on for ages, and it's now on hold, and that's Commander's Horn. There's been 123 episodes, and not long ago, McBeard tweeted that first that he's going to take a break from Gwent, then later he retracted that statement, but he said that the Commander's Horn is off air, and I can totally see why. Guys, do you have any ideas of how CDPR could motivate Gwent partners and other content creators to work on their own projects, something that would promote the game?
I think they just need to give partners more anything.
A purpose.
Yeah, because right now it's like you're a partner, and maybe you get into the PTR and you get to reveal a card and you get some like kegs or whatever. But like it would be so great just to be able to be a partner and actually like promote the game easier. Like buy kegs and give to people, or make community tournaments, or literally anything. Like I know with this is becoming the other card game stream, but like Mythgard, right? Like talking to some people playing Mythgard, and look, all right. I'm not a fan of Mythgard, but they have some really cool stuff with their partners, you know. And I think it's more of that, because right now like it's cool being a Gwent partner, but like in the end, like it doesn't really do a lot.
Yeah, you don't really get
Or
anything.
And you can't do anything either. Like you want to do stuff as a partner to be like, look, Gwent's awesome. Like I can do this for you and whatever, but you really can't. You just get a little badge to put on your stream. And
Oh yeah, like, you
can't
essentially
really do
get
anything
bragging
else.
rights. You get a card back and a badge, and that's it. And
Yeah.
every now and then
Yeah.
you get to review a card, as you already said. I mean, we have some crazy ideas. Like even within our Merchants of Novigrad group, we have some ideas. Like, Gwent and Gwent has been floating around for a while now, and it really needs to happen at some point.
We want to arrange a community tournament in the town of Gwent, which is in Wales.
I've seen that.
Wow.
Literally Gwent in Gwent.
That'd be great.
Can you imagine how good that would be? I've
can.
actually looked up venues that could host it and everything. Genuinely not kidding.
I mean,
We should do that.
we actually talk about that because Gwent, I think it's called Banlo, Gwent County. I'm not sure. I think Lionheart is gonna know the proper name.
No, yeah, it's around Newport.
Yeah, it's around Newport, and since it's a very small county, we actually thought we could reach out to the local council and talk to them about it, and some people would come in. There will be some coverage in the media, so maybe they would be interested in working with us, like in any kind of a cooperation with the merchants. Another idea that we got was a live episode of Merchants of Novigrad from Novigrad, Croatia.
We're just looking to go on holiday, basically, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking for sponsors, by the way. So if you're willing, just give us
Hashtag sell out.
Hashtag sell out.
No, but
And,
I mean, GwentCon would be great in Gwent, definitely.
Or like a Merchants of Novigrad minigame called Novigrad Injustice. We have all these ideas.
Developers.
Yeah, we have all these ideas.
Like there's so many things you could do. It's just like from like small scale things to huge things like that.
Yeah, I really think we need some sort of convention for Gwent, like a GwentCon, where people just get together. Like we had a taste of it during the Challenger, and I'm genuinely sad that CTPR did not even show the crowd during the tournament.
Yeah, they didn't.
Which is bizarre, because it's one of the things that people talk about. It's what really reignited Gwent, the community getting together, not just the tournament and people watching it on Twitch, but the community being there and people coming back with that real fire and passion and love for the game again.
Yeah. As a watcher, I thought there were like 50 people maybe watching in the audience. I still have no idea who showed.
Yeah, you don't.
I only saw the actual game.
Yeah. I mean, of course, the production value was there as always. Like, hosting was great, casters were amazing. The analysts did an amazing job. Like the overall vibe with everything and whatnot, that was great. But really, you got so many people just coming towards a fourth tournament. Do some interviews, just show them, interact with them. Yeah. Instead of making the announcement in the studio, just in front of the pro players, go on the stage and do it in front of the audience to see the reactions.
Yeah,
like we really need something like that. It doesn't have to be every year. Just every now and then, if there's a big announcement and they kind of want to make use of Gwent partners and just other content creators, invite them or do it somewhere else and let's have a great time together. And I think seeing the community as one, just everyone having fun and everyone being excited about Gwent would really do a lot of good for Gwent and the overall promotion of the game.
Definitely.
Completely agree.
And speaking of promotion, like we have to get to the topic of the roadmap.
So you're going to plug some sponsors.
We need some.
You guys heard of NordVPN?
We don't have sponsors yet, but if you have your own company and you are interested, just give us a call.
Just call in.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But yeah, guys, roadmap and MOO speculations. What are we gonna get?
Realistic or not?
Go wild.
Go with what you want first, then what you expect. I think.
Okay. All right. What I would want. And keep in mind, I'm not a pro player and haven't been playing Gwent for like 100 years. Like, yeah, okay. So what I would want, I would like a rough date on Android for sure, which I think everyone would like.
Yeah.
A bit more detailed than Q1. I would like information on the next season of competitive Gwent, which is what literally everyone will say. And like I said, I don't play competitive, but having a competitive scene for any game is great for everyone involved, not just the people who compete in it. So more concrete information on that and what their plans are to... Because it feels like the last Challenger, like it was just like working up to it. They did it, and it's like, all right, Challenger's done. See ya. Like nothing planned after, you know. So I'd like to see first, like, when's the next one, and also what are they going to do to keep it consistent and have like a regular league or season or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So those two, and then obviously like a new expansion would be pretty cool. And yeah, that's probably the most of stuff. A new game mode if I'm gonna go wild, like something really cool, really different. I don't know what, but just because all the game modes in Gwent are all just Gwent. You know
I'll show you. The idea I had is a game mode where you can design a deck using cards from all the factions. Where you can just go completely wild and design something that's completely broken.
Wow. Like Arena,
but controlled. Like you just get all the cards that you can use. Like it's not like you have to pick one of the three. You just pick whatever you want.
You just do whatever you want. Yeah, I would like to see like basically a second seasonal mode, but it's like way more insane. So it's like choose any card from any faction, or you can only put like odd costed cards in your deck, or like you have to have like a 50 card deck, or just like completely off the wall stuff that would just make it really insane.
Making the oddball tournament real.
Basically, and then every month it just rotates. Like stuff that limits deck building, I think, is a lot of fun. So
yeah, I agree.
Random things like that, I think.
Yeah, another option would be to sort of re-implement the old seasonal modes. Just make them legacy, like add them to the game core. So you can play the current seasonal mode, but you can also play the previous one because people loved Blitz. It would just be
you could play them in like if you challenge someone else, you could be like, I want to challenge you in this seasonal mode because I guess queuing into that would be a nightmare.
Yeah, because I don't think the community is large enough to do that right now.
No.
But being able to do it in 1v1s would be great.
Your take on the roadmap. It's coming this week. We know it.
Damn, I'm all for more competition. The more competition, the better. And honestly, I'd also like some more where we can create our own competitions. Like, just leave a blank in there somewhere, get some partners together. And also not just in Europe, make it here. I know Miss Lady J was trying to make her own competitive tournament here in South Africa. I don't think it realized, but I mean, there are lots of us. I mean, Spyro, I don't know if Crozier lives here, not sure. But make it more accessible to members across the world. Not everyone can afford to just fly over to Europe. Yeah, I think the more competition, the better, honestly.
If it's going to happen, we need it to happen soon because, as far as I know, Jess is moving to Germany with Crozier, so...
Yeah, well, let's hope. Let's hope everyone gets out of South Africa.
Yeah. That would be great, and it still reminds me of that Wild Hunt 3 idea Flake had, and that he presented to CDPR. I'm not sure if you guys watched that episode, but essentially Flake got this idea of making Wild Hunt 3, which is a North American Gwent tournament, and the top 8 would take place in a mansion in Florida. Like the prize pool wasn't really that great, but the idea was that just going to Florida would be a prize of its own.
Yeah, it'd be huge.
Definitely.
Yeah, and he got everything worked out. Budget, how much everything would cost, the camera crew, like everything was basically on paper, everything was already set. He just needed the go from CDPR and some funding, and they said they're gonna get back to him, and they never did.
Oof.
I mean, but now that, the income is much, much higher than what it used to be, who knows, maybe that idea is gonna be back on the menu.
Maybe. The revenue, if you look at Season 2, if you look at the revenue coming into Gwent, without external money, Season 2, if it exists, would have to be 75% less prize money to be even close to viable, unless they're investing from somewhere else. If Gwent's got to run at break-even, at best, you're looking at 75% reduction in price, in terms of prize money.
But that's understandable in a way, because they went completely nuts when it comes to season 1. Like, like, you know, 3 challengers at a special location. Like, you need to rent a freaking castle or a UNESCO protected salt mine.
Yeah,
how much is that?
Even in prize money, it's $850,000 they've effectively promised in season 1. That's a lot of money, even before production value and flying people. And that's crazy money. It's well above $1 million.
I think people would be fine just if they scaled it down, just to have it consistent and be like, look, we're going to do this, this, and this. Like the last event will be like super baller and we'll have lights and everything else. But like everything leading up to it, we'll just be in like a hotel or whatever, and we'll do Gwent. It'll be cool. We'll have cool people there, and we'll have fun. You know, I think that would be fine.
Just like the last Challenger, it was hosted in CDPR, so the cost was almost nothing because they got their own basis. Yep. And it was probably my favourite tournament.
It was great. I loved it.
It was great. I love the production value there. Yeah. That's something I expect from the roadmaps. So basically what Zaid already said, a rough date on when the Android version is going to be released, because as you said, Q1 is just too vague. We need to know, like, I don't know, beginning of February, or you know, something like that. Like, give us a rough date on when it's going to happen.
At least what they're hoping for.
Lay down the basics of season 2. Like, okay, is it going to happen? When does it start approximately? What is the format gonna be like? Because I think that they are going to change something in that department. And when is Masters gonna take place, more or less? And one thing that we need to get, and they should absolutely talk about it during the roadmap video, is the spectator mode. I know they said it's not a priority, but spectator mode would be absolutely crucial for the competitive scene to stay alive, even without any significant tournaments. Because there's a lot of people willing to organize custom tournaments, but there needs to be a spectator mode, because otherwise it's just a pain in the ass to deal with.
Yeah, right. It should be something that they implement. Let's hope. I mean, otherwise they're just shooting themselves in the foot at this point.
Yeah, it's not something that should be this hard. You know,
no, it already exists. They use it for their own tournaments.
Exactly.
They have some sort of gateway where you can only use it when they approve, which is easy enough to do, right? You can just require an additional code that they provide for set tournaments that they approve. It's the program
what we have now.
Exactly. The amount of effort that goes into, you know, we've had tournaments recently. Bushy hosted the Bushy's Brawl. We've had the Claymore Open. The amount of effort and extra work that has to go in that is unnecessary if we just had that is kind of baffling.
Yeah.
Even you know, when talking about Gwent and Gwent internally, we said we really need a spectator mode for that to happen.
Yeah, I'd happily host a tournament. Gwent and Gwent. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. It just needs to be possible.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, besides, there's so many great British content creators and players like Freddy, Ash, King Chess is from Gwent.
He is.
that will be. It's very, very easy to get these people on board, I guess. One more thing that I expect from the roadmap is like a rough idea on when the expansions are gonna drop, because right now, last time they said we want to do a couple of expansions a year, and I think that they really need to narrow it down to one expansion every 3 months or something like that. Like,
knowing when they're coming is
we need to know what is their development cycle. It seems it's 3 months. I don't think we are gonna get an expansion in December, because I think if we did, we would already have a PDR, and if there is a PDR, it's super secret, and I don't know about it. Actually, some people tried to bamboozle me. They're like, "Oh, Pumpkin is playing PDR." Is there a PDR? I have no idea.
I've actually heard that too.
I've heard some people saying that, but I think they're just trying to debate others.
Maybe.
I'd say so.
Yeah, he can't be doing it on his own. He's just playing against himself. This is amazing.
Who knows? Maybe he's playing against Life Coach and Swim.
Oh, we can dream. A part of me does wonder, actually, is the Masters delay? Currently, Life Coach is committed to working for Riot, and as a result, he's exclusive to Riot. That exclusivity isn't permanent. Are they waiting for that exclusivity to finish so that he doesn't not no-show? He's got another 3 months, I think, or 3 or 4 months of exclusivity by the sound of it. Is that the reason? Because
is it worth waiting?
Tournament wouldn't look great, would it? I know there's people they could step in. I think, is it Hannah-chan who's next that would go in?
Yeah.
Instead, but part of me wonders, because he was such a huge part of the Gwent community originally, are they hoping for the Life Coach boom Maybe. I don't know. I'm just curious.
Conspiracy
Possibly.
theory.
Yeah, and it's not really conspiracy because he hasn't been playing Gwent for what, 3 years now? Like he quit
He came
around.
back for like 2 days, right?
Yeah, he quit around the time of Midwinter, which was December 2017,
When everyone else
almost
did.
2 years ago, and then he came back for the Homecoming release for 2 days, and he posted a longer message on why he doesn't like it, and that was it.
But it is so much better than it was then. It's
Yeah.
Of course, but he's not committed to Gwent in any form or shape anymore. So
No.
the question is, he doesn't really need the money, I guess. Like
No.
knowing his status, he doesn't really need the price that comes with participating in Masters. So
No.
even if he wasn't in the Riot exclusive, would he be willing to participate after essentially 2 years of being away?
Well, that's the thing. I think anybody else would be. That's what's frustrating, I think, for Gwent. And if it wants to be competitive, it needs people to care. There aren't many people who turn down the option of a $250,000 prize.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
I will step in. I'll do it. It's fine. But you know what, guys? I will take the bullet. I will take his place.
You'll take one for the team.
I will save Gwent single-handedly.
Thank you, Lionheart. Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. No,
You
but
are
I
the
do
hero we
think
needed.
that part-
Yeah, he
obviously-
still needs
sorry.
to win. Yeah, sorry. In order to get that, he needs to win. And I mean, I personally believe there's a little bit of luck in that level of pro, because you can only do so much if you play certain factions against each other. So it's not like, is it worth it to get $250,000? Is it worth it to get a certain position below that? It's probably not for him anymore.
No, for him it's not. I will step
Is
in.
it-
Yeah, same.
There's an inherent issue with how spread out all of the challenges have been.
I agree.
So, ideally, you probably wouldn't want to wait this long because a lot can change in 2 years. Like,
Yeah.
someone could compete in the first one and die in 2 years.
Oh, yeah,
that's
sure.
it's
It has
a lot-
actually
it's a
been
lot
that
of-
long. Yeah.
It's a lot of time, So I think, we for the roadmap, a layout of season 2 and be like, all right, this is when it starts, this is when it ends. Like it's like
Here's
a
the
year.
plan, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not
initially
like
they had
10
that,
years.
didn't they? The first 12 months was consistent. It was open challenger. You had one a month roughly, and it was
then
well structured. And then it
Homecoming
just stopped. Yeah, and then Homecoming
so
happened,
good.
and they went no.
Like it's a
Back to
completely
that.
different game. Like if you invested your time into
Yeah.
Beta Gwent and you expected that to develop in a certain direction, and then they completely changed their approach to the game. It's essentially a completely different product. I feel it can be a little bit disheartening.
I wouldn't blame anyone after winning or getting somewhere in the last few and just bailing on it. Be like,
Yeah.
sorry, like,
You can
I just don't like the
understand.
game anymore. Yeah.
But before we delve deeper into that topic, MOO, or however you want to pronounce it, the already famous Buja tweet that he loves to work with Jason on MOO. What is that? Your speculations, guys. Your take on what MOO is gonna be.
It's very obviously the buff to prize winning cow. I don't know what else it could be. That's it, There's
Yeah.
nothing else to it.
Just
Guess
short.
what?
Yeah,
Every card
personally,
is
I
now
think
short.
that in his free time, Buja just plays Farmville with Jason, and that was a reference.
It could just be completely unrelated.
But I think that most people I've talked to sincerely believe it's a new expansion, like something
Wow.
of
I think
Oxenford,
so.
something of Ophir, like Mages of Ophir maybe, or Merchants of Oxenford, like, completely another ripoff.
It's something to do with a new expansion, probably.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Because
yeah.
we already know that the new art is in. Like Busha was already
Yeah.
having a look at that a couple of months ago, because he told us. So the expansion
Really
was
some
in
of
the
it.
works.
Mm.
But the question is, if it's an expansion, do you guys have like a preferred theme of that? Is there something you would like to see in Gwent? Is there something you would like to see back in Gwent? Because there's still a couple of things that we are missing from the beta phase of the game.
Give him my boy Dagon. That's it.
The fish
Dagon
god.
everything. Yeah, that's it.
Oh. I just want to see more cards. I want to see new cards that actually change the meta up. That's what I want. I don't want another faction. I don't want another faction. I beg you, not another faction. But I just want some cards, and we've already got cards like Dave. We're missing cards that we had before that would come in and would shift the meta, would change the game, and add another dimension. And I think that's what I'm looking for, really. Obviously, the theme will be cool. I do think it's Oxenfurt. I think Moo's a reference to the trophy you get in Oxenfurt when you kill all the cows and spawn the chort. I think it's an expansion. I hope it is, but I don't think we'll see it before February at the earliest.
But was it in Oxenfurt? Wasn't the short thing in White Orchard?
It was. You were just outside Oxenfurt, and you had the only place you could actually do the achievement for Moorger, or however you say it, was just outside Oxenfurt.
Okay, because I know that the short thing was very prevalent in the first area.
Yeah, because the short was broken and it just one-shot you.
Yeah.
Do you think Gwent has too many cards that any new expansion would just kind of inherently be not much of a meta shift because there's so many baked-in cards to core decks at this point?
Depends on if you make tweaks to the existing cards.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We still have that promise, right? That they said they're going to rework bronzes. It didn't really happen this season for obvious reasons, because you don't want to mess around with stuff like that when you release on iOS. I still hope they're going to go on with the plan and rework a huge number of bronzes to feel playable and feel good to play and good to include in your deck. Especially from my own perspective as a Novigrad player, because there's just so many bronzes I don't even want to look at.
So eventually, like, you can't just keep reworking cards, right? They'll get to a point where it's like, okay, every new expansion is not doing enough unless we go insane. You have to do something.
I'm already
sometime soonish, I would assume. Like, Gwent, how many cards does Gwent have now? Like 700? 600?
6 factions. Each faction's got 106 cards except for Syndicate, which has got 130.
142.
And then all the neutral cards. So probably around 700.
Yeah.
Damn.
A bit more, yeah, something like that, yeah. There are plenty of cards that don't see enough play.
We did not need a new faction. I'm always saying this. We did not need Syndicate. I would rather.
We disagree on this.
I would rather.
We disagree on this.
I know that.
I agree. I disagree. I agree with Lionheart. So
I would rather see each faction getting 28, 29 cards than Syndicate being around.
See, I hate Syndicate, but I like that it's in the game.
I like Syndicate.
Same. It's a bit different. I think it's necessary. Otherwise, things get a bit bland.
You know, but I know I'm biased here, but I've always liked lore-friendly factions, and Syndicate doesn't have any basis in the Witcher lore. It's completely made up for the purpose of Gwent. There's like 2 characters from the Witcher games and 2 or 3 characters from the Witcher games and novels. The rest is just completely designed for the purpose of Gwent.
Yeah, but if you get into that, then it's like the whole Scoia'tael is full.
Oh yeah, of course. Like,
we see that topic
actually
hate Scoia'tael.
Yeah, we see that topic
We're
surface
searching,
every couple of months, right? With the
it's
Mahakam
fine. Like,
thing.
I'm a fan. Like I said, I don't enjoy playing Syndicate. I hate playing against Syndicate. They drive me crazy, but I'm glad they're in the game because they add variety. I've now got 5 potential different opponents and my own faction. Not, it gives another meta that you have to fight against, you have to deal with. I think with Pro Rank, the way they've designed it, if you got one specific faction that wasn't very good and only 4 opponents, if your MMR was made from 4, you would just have one dead faction permanently.
Yeah.
That just
I think 6 is a good number. I think I probably wouldn't want to see any more, honestly, but 6 I think is good.
Yeah, and if anything needs to go, it's probably not right. So buy some back.
just merge it in with Northern Realms. It needs to happen. Just get rid of it.
That bribery, the coin, it's a lot like Syndicate, but biased.
Okay, note yourself. Never invite Thea again.
It's cool. I can continue. I won't.
But yeah, we actually got to the point where Gwent is balanced, and the game is arguably in a very good state. Like, objectively speaking, it's in a very good state. But I've seen both Bushi and Spyro asking the question, and what now? How do you go like what do you do now? How do you go with the development from this point? Like how do you develop the game? You have this ultimate balance on your hands. What do you do?
Yeah, I feel that. Like, quite. I was thinking before the podcast. I was trying to think of a way to like say what I feel with that, and that's a pretty good way to put it. Like, it feels like Gwent's a very good spot, but it's like now what do you do? You know, like, I think eventually Gwent's going to have a pretty big thing in its hands. It's kind of similar to what I said before. Like, there's so many cards, and I know like a lot of people don't like the idea of having a rotation of cards because for many reasons, but it's something you got to do for a card game. It just has to happen. Like, I don't think any card game has continued on for a while without having a rotation. It just needs something you have to do. And Gwent's in a weird position because a lot of its expansions are like would be considered core to the game, right? Like, you can't just rotate out Novigrad because there goes the whole faction. You can't just rotate out Crimson Curse because then there's so many cards in Crimson Curse that would be considered like core, right? Like all the bombs and a ton of other stuff. So eventually Gwent's going to have a judgment day, I think, where it's going to have to be like, all right, we're going to like melt the idea of all these old expansions. We'll have to like merge, make like a core set and do a ton of this stuff. And I think that's probably something they're dealing with right now because 3 more expansions away, they're going to have to do something about
Homecoming 2 confirmed.
I don't think it's that big, but eventually it's going to have to be a core set, and eventually they'll rotate expansions.
Yeah, I agree, because one thing that players always wanted is that ultimate balance. Like you could always see that whenever there was a new expansion or just a minor patch, people were like, "Oh, we need this to be balanced, we need that to be balanced," and now we achieve that balance more or less. And people are bored out of Gwent.
Yeah. But balance is about a cycle, though, isn't it? When you've got balance, inevitably you bring change. It will become unbalanced again, and then we will seek that balance. I mean, Magic, as a community, actively listen and ban specific cards from whole seasons because they're broken. Rather than reworking them, they just go, you know what? No, we're going to take this out of the game for a while, and we're going to come back to you, which shifts the whole meta.
What cards would those be, do you think?
What, bribery rip?
Yeah, I'll ban bribery too.
I didn't say it.
So I'm not saying that I'm complaining about certain archetypes because they need to work. You need good cards, but sometimes you think, is that actually a better way? The community complains about certain cards. We wait 6 weeks and it gets a slight tweak. Maybe it should just be actually remove it, shift the whole meta that way, so that you're changing the balance. I don't know. There's lots of other competitors that do this already, so there's got to be some way to it. But I think we do risk reaching the point where we have too many cards that you just never see. So I think rotating them out does make sense.
Yeah. Even like mini micro rotations work too. Like I go back to Hearthstone, but it's a good reference, all right? So like Hearthstone recently brought like 10 or 15 cards from like older expansions and just like, all right, here you go, and just like lift them into the meta. And like as far as I know, a lot of stuff changed because they were quite powerful. And conversely, they've also done the same of like, okay, these cards are way too strong. We're just gonna like dump them in wild, see you later. And then the whole game changes because everyone was just relying on these cards to make like every deck, right? So I think stuff like that can also be quite beneficial over time. Just little tweaks, send a few, bring a few in. Like you can do stuff like that to keep it fresh.
Guys, have you seen the Draft and Craft tournament announcement?
No.
Essentially, the idea is that each player in every matchup is gonna ban certain cards and abilities. And I think that's something that we could do on a seasonal basis. For example, like people don't like bribery. Okay, so let's say this season, Create is gonna be on the list of abilities that are gonna be banned. Like you are not able to play a Create this season.
I suppose
I
it
like
would
the idea.
actively shift. Yeah.
That would always.
I think it would have to be curated for sure, because if like Create, it would obviously like destroy probably one faction or a couple of factions more than anyone else.
Exactly.
To be honest, it wouldn't. Like, even if you look at Novigrad, like everyone is playing Create. Everyone except me. I'm playing Enslaved Soldiers, like my own version, and I think there is a couple of other Enslaved Soldiers decks. Like it's possible to make a very decent deck with a different hybrid. Than tactics and Create. You can do tactics soldiers, you can do tactics something else. Create you can. So
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. I think the devs could be like, all right, we're going to take like these certain amount of specific things that we'll put it to a community vote. You can vote in game or whatever.
I wouldn't do it because then it's not gonna be balanced in any way. Like the vote will be very skewed.
Biased. Yeah.
It'll be very
exactly.
biased. Like you can see that the community has
Yeah, that's a good point.
like certain factions more than others.
But
So,
would this be in seasonal or ranked?
Seasonal. Like every
Oh,
season
that's
or
okay.
every couple of months. Maybe every expansion they would ban an ability or two.
Because I mean, if you take out my Corvo and Dandelion, screwed. I'm not playing
It's
Northern Realms.
Visigoda.
Yeah.
He is from Corvo. He is Visigoda.
Corvo.
I knew you were going to do that.
Corvo is my man.
I
Not
don't
calling him
know.
anything else.
Corvo is a place. I'm not sure how a place can be your man, but whatever floats your boat. Kappa.
Well,
I do like the idea for seasonal, actually. I think that's quite a good idea, being able to deal with that. I suppose seasonal has got lots of options. There's lots of different ways we can do that, and it is interesting, and it is fun, and it's nice to take
We are
it as
not
free.
talking about seasonal.
Yeah.
We are talking about just Gwent in general. Like you have a season, and you just completely ban an ability from that season.
I
Also,
don't
even
like
on
that.
Pro Radar, even on Pro Rank.
At
Even
all.
pro. Yeah.
Because think about it, you'll obviously ban something out of a different faction. So it's, let's say everyone plays Enslave, you're all going to ban my Corvo. I don't like that.
No, it's not like you get the choice to ban something. It's like CDPR bans
whole
an
community.
ability before the
Okay.
season. So, for example, they say, okay,
Harmony's gone.
create harmony is gone, for instance.
I think it's too broad.
Yeah,
I like the
think
idea.
It's a broader version of the magic thing.
Yeah, I think what would be more effective is isolating certain cards and not whole keywords. But maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose because they put a lot of work into developing those functions to make Harmony viable, Assimilate viable, Intimidate isn't viable, as I actively proved, but to take an entire archetype out, I suppose that would be quite frustrating for them having built it, but it would force them to work on the other ones. If you took Bounty out of Syndicate, nobody would play it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I mean, they
Sorry,
effectively did that already.
but it's still tier 0 or tier 1.
Yeah, but exactly that was the main voice of criticism, that if you take the whole bounty mechanic out of Syndicate, the faction is not going to be playable. They reworked it. They did it in a very reasonable fashion, and the faction is still tier 1.
Yeah,
It didn't
you
suffer
still
from
use it.
that rework.
Yeah, but it's still functional, and two of your biggest cards still functionally require it or make a big benefit from it. So it is more balanced than it was, definitely. But what isn't in Gwent?
I mean, it's okay. Bounty right now is not very problematic, I would say.
No, it works well.
Yeah, agree.
Just to top off the...
honestly, I don't really see any problematics, any problematic abilities or cards. Like maybe one or two like that could use some tweaking, but nothing that will be completely broken.
To tie it off the little conversation about card rotations, just with Frantic Chan in chat, saying with how rotations, that a lot of big downside with that is that it costs a lot, right? And that's one of the big reasons people don't like them, is that you rotate cards out that you own, and then it's like, hey, buy more cards. And I think that's definitely an issue. But I think the thing with Gwent is that because it's so generous, it's not actually going to be as much of a problem, especially if you've been playing for a little bit where you've got enough resources to craft a lot of stuff. So I definitely agree that can be an issue. I think for Gwent, it might actually be not as bad.
No, Gwent is almost too generous, isn't it? In terms of resource gathering, it's very easy to gather resources very quickly.
It's in a weird spot, actually. I was thinking about that. Like, Gwent is very generous, almost to a fault, right?
Yeah,
Almost,
I agree. Yeah, I think it actually is almost to a fault. As much as I would have absolutely hated it when it switched from beta, I kind of wish I didn't get my scraps and had to start again. Which I know at the time I would have complained like crazy about, but now I think I'd prefer it.
I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't agree, but I'm kind of with you. Like,
I wouldn't have started playing again. The thing is, when I went away for
Yeah.
scraps, I was like, gotta use it now. if I didn't, I would feel that all my time has been wasted because it's essentially just grinding and grinding. And maybe we change from beta to Homecoming 2, and you lose all your scraps again.
Yeah.
And then you won't come back.
If they announce Homecoming 2, that would be effectively the end of Gwent. Like, I
Exactly.
don't think the community would survive another drought.
It would, but then if you switching from a beta to a game normally, you don't transition, you don't take everything you earned with you because it was a beta. Even if they pushed it slightly, maybe. I know I would have complained, I would have hated it. So I'm not saying they could have done it. I'm just looking back with hindsight. I wish they'd given us less because it is so generous that you don't have to invest if you don't want to ever.
Yeah, but here's the question: how do you limit that generosity?
Right now,
you have to do it step by step, very, very slowly, like they did with the ability of crafting premium cards with scraps. It used to be possible. I did that. I had a full premium collection at some point, and they took that away. And initially, some people were quite upset about it, but I think
definitely
in the end, everyone accepted the fact.
I think it's kind of in a bit of a not issue, but just like it's like a thing, right? Where let's say you don't care about pro rank, right? You just play Gwent because like you like the game and you like the cosmetics and whatever. Once you've got a collection, there's really not a lot to grind for, you know? If you don't want to get into pro rank. And I think that's something they might want to address with maybe like super grindable cosmetics, apart from like the contracts and stuff, but like you know, it's like I know it's like just play the game for fun, forehead, like sure, but like there's got to be like a carrot where you'd be like, I got to go for it. Like I need this, and I need this next thing, and I think there needs to be something that if you don't care about pro rank,
because the leader, the quests and stuff are good, right? But they only give me more dust and more powder that I don't need.
That's actually the point that Spyro made in his video, that the whole ranked system is kind of pointless right now, because before in beta, like you would get specific seasonal rewards for reaching each rank. Like you'd get a new avatar or a new border or a new title, something like that. There will be some sort of specific rewards for grinding rank. Now you don't really get them. Like if you don't have the ambition to get to pro rank, what do you grind for? That's the question you ask. But once you get to pro rank, what do you grind for then? Like, the competitive scene is very limited. Like the number of players who are really gonna make it is limited to what, like 20 people maybe, and how many out of them are gonna make it there? Like whether you are top 500 or top 100, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
exactly. It needs to be some massive resource dumps. I think obviously at different levels, but just get all your scrap, your powder, just pour it in, like. Whatever it's for, you know, just dump it.
All of it,
Or introduce new currency and sort of devalue the existing ones. Yeah, that's always another option too, because then you can kind of make it in with that in mind, I guess, as well. Just something to run the treadmill for that isn't just enjoying the game, because they go hand in hand, I think.
Yeah, well, I think their current plan. There's no situation where that'll happen because it's designed around new players right now. Gwent is built for the new players coming in from iOS and the new players they plan for Android.
It's great for that.
At the moment, and not in a horrible way. They aren't concerned with our progression because our progression isn't relevant right now. It's getting new players in, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually don't think it's us that matter. And I don't mean that they don't care about us. I know they do, and I know they need to keep us, and I know. But we aren't the focus right now. And we haven't been, if you look back for the last 6 months. That was actually the point Trident made last episode, right? He said for the first 30-something hours, 40 hours, as a new player, you're not even gonna see the meta. No.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good moment to touch a little bit more on the topic of competitive Gwent and the community tournament. There's not much going on in terms of competitive Gwent. Like we've seen a lot of people just asking for more information, but there has been some really cool community projects like Bush's Brawl. Did you guys watch it?
Yeah.
Watch bits.
Yeah,
I wasn't able to. I slept.
Okay, that's a very good argument.
I was gonna be in it actually, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to stay up until 2 a.m. just to start playing. So I was like, I'll pull out of this one. I got to sleep.
Just not committed enough, clearly.
Yeah, just don't like Gwent enough.
These Hearthstone players, honestly.
Yeah.
I was sitting on my phone playing Battlegrounds and like, man, I really don't want to play Gwent right now. That's a joke. I was asleep. I was sleeping, guys.
You'd just as well be asleep while playing those games.
Oh,
Couldn't agree
Got 'em.
more. But yeah.
But yeah, I actually think that community tournaments are vital for the success of Gwent. That's why we
Awesome.
really
Yes.
need spectator mode. It will just make the life of
Yes.
everyone so much
Yeah.
easier. And the draft and craft tournament I already mentioned. I consider playing it. It's a really cool idea that you can ban cards and abilities beforehand. And maybe there's gonna be another edition of Oddball. Have you guys watched any of it? I know that Lion, you played in one of the editions, right?
Sorry, dude, you cut out there for me.
Yeah,
the
same.
Oddball tournament.
Oh, I've played in the Oddball tournaments. They're really good fun. They're completely different. They're kind of like
they're great.
the messed up versions of Seasonal that we're talking about, and it's all community driven, and they're great fun. The beauty of the Oddball tournament is when enough people can't make it, I get to play, and it was really good fun.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, they're
Got
it's just
annihilated.
completely different. Yeah, same. Lord Bushwick demolished me. Shocking nobody. I won a game. And it's on my CV for Gwent.
I got 3-0'd, so
Oh, ouch. No, to be honest, I should have been 3-0'd. I got really lucky. He low-rolled. But nonetheless, it was entirely my skill that won me that game, and that's the takeaway.
of course.
But no, the Oddball tournaments are amazing, and the fact that the Gwent community is actively trying to amuse itself almost shows how much they love the game, how much the drive is there for it. With tournaments like Oddball, and I know there are more in the works that people, they're looking at trying to make more Oddball tournaments, and Bushy hosting the Bushy's Brawl, which must have been a phenomenal amount of effort on his part to continually cast and deal with all of that. That's, and there was another Open, the Claymore Open, that was played for a smaller prize. But I mean, the guy who won the Claymore Open, won the 98, he played his final game at 3 a.m. his time, and it finished at 3:42 a.m. He'd been playing all day, all night. And the number of people who have been doing that, stayed up, watched it to do that. The community is literally, it's there and waiting. We're all keen. Give us spectator mode, please. Forget everything else. Just give me spectator mode.
In a way, there is now more demand than supply. And not only tournaments, not only competitive scene, just Gwent content in general.
Completely. Yeah. That's why the streams grow so quick.
Yeah, honestly, they should just give the people more power to continue an adaptive spiral of sorts, so they don't need to do all the work. We can do it. We just need the power to do it. Yeah, spectator mode. I think it's definitely very necessary.
And we'll do
exactly.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Is there anything else competitive related that we need to talk about Lionheart?
Not that I know that's actually taken place, to be honest. We've had those really. It's all just around, are we going to get a Masters date? We hope so. What's going on from there? That's basically where we are. There's no news. I don't know when the next community tournaments are even. I haven't seen anything announced, unfortunately.
Me neither. But we actually knew that this segment was going to be very, very short.
Yeah.
That's why we can just move to the personal part of the stream. And I think the first question is gonna be, Zaid, why do you have multiple YouTube channels?
Yeah,
it's only 2. It's not that many.
2 more than most.
Well, that's true.
I would say 1 more than most.
Yeah, I have 0.
Okay, base and bat doesn't count.
The reason is that I started my main YouTube channel about 18 months ago, before I streamed or really had even played Gwent. And that's kind of like my main YouTube presence, which is going pretty well, where I mainly review like old games and some new ones, usually RTS games. But hilariously enough, one of my first 5 videos was like a 5-minute preview on Gwent, as a beta Gwent.
Oh, really?
That was the only beta Gwent I ever played. I played about 8 hours of it for that video.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I remember I shared it on the Gwent subreddit too. I'd be interested to see who commented on that. But yeah, so that's the only Gwent video on my channel.
Oh, wow.
But you have the other channel. You have the
so I have the Zaid Gwent channel, which I made specifically for Gwent only, because my videos on my main channel are not frequent, right? They're every week or 2. very edited, like more like documentaries almost, documentaries, reviews, that kind of stuff. They take a lot of work to do. So it's not really a channel where I'd want to upload like Gwent deck guides or like Gwent gameplay or analysis or stuff like that, because the audience also is not the audience who wants to see Gwent, right? So I was like, well, let's start a second channel that could just be Gwent, and then I could do both. And yeah, so that's just Gwent stuff. But we kind of talked about it before we started a bit, but it's like finding the motivation to create. It's like right now, like today, like what do I make a Gwent video on? It's like, I don't know, man. It's like, just like, I played this deck today. Like that's all you can do. There's just nothing else.
I also think that's what most people do. It's like a recap of what they played in the last couple of days or a week.
Yeah, and for me, like I'm just there's just like I don't have the motivation to do that. So it's the last couple of weeks I really haven't made anything for that channel.
But you also have your own podcast. Yeah,
so that's an interesting spot too. So I started a Boardside podcast maybe like 2 months ago, about when Iron Judgment came out. I was doing it with Specimen Gwent for anyone who knows him. But he's a super busy guy. He works full time, and we weren't able to keep doing it together. And also, we're on the other side of the world, so like, I'd be like, "Hey, can we record a podcast?" Like, I'm asleep, and then he would be like, "Hey, can we record a podcast?" Like, I'm asleep. Like, it's just, it's very difficult. We're literally opposite. So he ended up pulling out of that, and now we're just trying to work out what we want to do with it. And there hasn't been an episode for a couple of weeks, but we'll see. Hopefully next week there'll be one. And at the same time, I was doing like a kind of a secondary series of Boardside interviews where I would interview a content creator or like some known personality in like the Gwent scene, but talk less about Gwent and more about them like as a person. So learning about them and finding about the history and stuff. And I've done a few of those, and they were fun. So I'm
you did one with Barrel, right?
No, so we actually did a normal podcast together. Woody's in chat. I did one with him, an interview with him, and then I've done one with Ryan Godric as well.
You're right. Ryan is great. It's a shame he's not streaming more.
Yeah, I think he was finishing his study. I think he might be back into it soon.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. We need more content
creators. It would be great.
Yeah, it'd be good to have
Ryan. We do.
And speaking of new content creators, Thea, you started streaming again not too long ago. How it's been going for you? Like,
did you just get like the sun appear in front of you?
Literally, the moment he said my name.
Boom!
May the great sun light your path.
It's back now, right? That's odd.
Okay.
Okay, so I began streaming Gwent in the beta version, and our internet in South Africa absolutely sucks. So I had to stop for an entire year, came back to Homecoming. It was just something completely else. I remember playing the trial version, and I thought they wouldn't give us a third row because we weren't ready for it yet, and it never came. So it's quite interesting. And Team Rankstar recently asked me to join. I'm quite stoked for that. It's nice being part of a community like that. And you're also part of it, Weissenberg. I know you are. Might have pulled some strings, maybe.
I'm not gonna deny I did have a hand in this.
And like I said, we're just trying to get past our exams at the moment. If that's done, I can stream full time again. And also pursue some other passions like writing, etc.
Writing about Gwent specifically, or writing more like a novel, or
okay. I don't want to self-promote, but I've been working.
Go ahead. That's what this segment is for.
Okay. Well, the real passion is writing, right? So I only studied law and psychology in case that didn't work out. But the reality is it might work out. It just takes a couple of years. So I started the novel in high school. It's now my third year of university, and it's done. So I recently got an editor from New York, finally. And now we're searching for an agent. And if that's done, I can publish it, maybe study something else. and still stream. Definitely still stream. A lot of creative output, I feel, is necessary.
Any details you can give away? Like what is the novel about, or like a general topic of it? I'm interested. I love reading.
Yeah, me too. It's really cool.
Okay, well, it's a young adult novel, so it's very much, how can we put it, extraterrestrial Lord of the Flies. So without giving away too much, it's basically about children disappearing all over the world, which happens anyway. We just assume they're being kidnapped, right? So this book delves into the theory that they're all being abducted, and we'd never know, would we? So the main character, he receives a mark the morning he's abducted, and it's called The Marked because all these children are basically marked before they go. And he wakes up on this another planet, and they need to survive. They need to figure out why they're there. It's quite interesting. Well, I'd say, yeah, and I'm hoping that might get published soon. It would be nice.
That's really cool.
That'd be amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah, if it gets published, it's not merely an idea. It would be fun to actually hold a hard copy of it. Yeah.
One day.
Yeah, it's
really cool.
It's a very interesting topic because it actually reminds me of the discussion I've had with quite a few Gwent and The Witcher players, and the question would always be like, you wake up in the Witcher universe, what do you do?
Oh, it's like that Skyrim starts. Oh, you're finally awake. That Imperial ambush got you.
Sword Art Online, but for The Witcher.
Great reference.
Yeah, what would you do? I mean, do you wake up as The Witcher? Do you wake up as a peasant?
I think that you would not survive very long in the Witcher universe, and I'm not talking about the monsters because, as we know from the novels, they are not as common as they are in the games. But without having any kind of community, and nobody would trust you. Like everyone would look down upon you. It's like it's like being a newcomer in a town in medieval Europe. It just would not work the way you would think it would. So I don't think you would survive very long, like without any kind of background and community and anyone to support you, and probably not having the skills that you need to survive in an environment like that.
True.
Like are you gonna tell them, oh, I'm good at designing stuff in Photoshop? What on earth is Photoshop?
I don't know what. I'm really good at Gwent, like super good.
That might be actually something. That might be something.
Get me to the Gwent tournaments.
Yeah, you can get quite a lot of money with that. But you have to play the beta version though, so catch 22.
Oh, true. Yeah, spy meta, only spy meta.
No, you'd have to play the original Gwent from The Witcher 3. Your opponent plays Frost or Rain, and you're done.
Yeah.
Like all your units are 1 point now.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Lionheart, do we have any personal questions from the community?
They've been sort of touched upon as we've gone through, to be honest. They've been we've been sort of dropping them in. The community have not asked anything we haven't already covered.
Come on, community,
so maybe like a last call, guys. If you have any more or less personal questions to our guests, you can ask them now, and we promise to at least push them to answer. Like I remember we had some ridiculous questions.
I refuse to answer.
You plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth. Oh. Okay.
Thoughts on the no D rank system?
Yeah, the no D rank system.
I like it and also don't like it.
Committing, I see.
Yeah, that's my hot take. It's great, but also it does make it easier. So it doesn't feel as impactful to get to pro rank. But in saying that, I think the positives outweigh it a lot, where you don't feel bad about making meme decks.
Oh yeah.
At any rank, and you don't have to be worried about like losing. And it encourages people to be more creative and not feel like they have to grind the top tier 1 deck in order to get to pro rank. So while it does make it feel easier overall, I think it's far better than not having it.
Yeah, I concur with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Same.
It felt quite oppressive. Like if you are a meme player, like yes, I ranked up, but now I'm afraid to play.
Yeah.
Another good question from Tommy99, leader balancing so that the factions have more leader variety. That's
Please.
a very significant
Please.
question, because right now it kind of feels like some leaders are just royal decree on a stick.
Francisco?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Fran, wildcard,
Pincer.
maneuver.
Yeah. I've talked about this on my stream a lot, but I think all the leaders that can play 2 cards need to either be, there's like 2 ways. You either got to just delete them and make new ones, which I would rather them not do because I like the flavor. Or secondary, you either, I guess there's 3, you rework them to be similar but not as good, or you just destroy their provision bonus. They just like annihilate, like cut it in half to make it like the fact playing, because their abilities are so important. Because Gwent, your resources are cards, right? So being able to play 2 of them is like insane. So just like destroy the provision to make that trade off. Like it hurts because it's so strong. So I think one of those would be the way to go.
I think Pincer's probably the most problematic one because there's no.
It's so good
to draw anything. At least in Harmony, you have to have already played the card to be able to replay
Does it
it.
still show you the exact order of cards? Because I think that was the case.
No.
I don't know.
I'm
I
not
never
sure,
realised it
but
did.
like,
if it does, that's even crazier. But
that was the case. That
I
was
don't-
definitely the case. It showed you what cards, all the cards in your deck in the exact order they are placed in the deck, so you would know what you're gonna draw.
I didn't know that actually.
Sure. Yeah.
Wait, with
That
what?
was a bug. I think it was
what?
fixed.
Pincer maneuver.
But Pincer Maneuver, you can choose a card, right?
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
point is, if you play it early, you know what you're gonna draw next round. So it actually
Oh.
made you change your
I don't
strategy
think it-
depending on what
I
you're gonna.
don't think it does that. Because that's all I play at the moment is Pincer Maneuver.
I think it was fixed.
Such a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't good enough. Needs a buff.
Yeah. Buff Pincer
Not only
maneuver
draw
when-
any card you want, also just reorder your deck in whatever order you want. You know.
That'd be
It's fine.
amazing.
Needs a
Swap
buff.
your hand as well if you like.
Just
maybe
do
they
whatever.
could. Maybe it could be draw any bronze card so that you haven't got
I
a
thought so
guaranteed
too,
point for
right?
your win con.
But then wild card, how would you do that?
You'd have to
I mean-
fix that too. They all need
Yeah.
fixing for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
Yeah.
Covite is a good example of how it could work. It's very, very restricted. It allows you to
double
play another
cross.
card.
Double
Yeah,
cross.
kinda. But it's create, and I know that a lot of people are kind of on the fence when it comes to this variability. I don't really like it that much either. Just to put it out there.
I like
I know
double cross is
that
more of a
there's
meme
been some
ability.
footage of me playing through bribery. I know. It's seasonal memes. Just keep that in mind, please. Good question from BJ. Actually, BJ not being on the podcast, but being in the chat, very, very appreciated, man. Future projects plans you'll be working on.
Should I take it?
Yeah, Zaid. It's your turn.
All right, I'll take it. Future projects for, I guess the main ones are for the YouTube channel because that's where I do my big projects. I'm currently working on I've done 2 so far, like big, almost like documentary videos basically. So I've done 2 so far. They're both like 40 minutes long. So much work, and I'm starting to work on another one. I've been like contacting developers and
Wow.
personalities from the games and stuff, and I got a reply a few days ago. I'm not going to say who because I want to keep it a surprise, but it's related to Command and Conquer, so I'll leave it at that.
Oh, that's
amazing.
exciting.
Yeah, very. I got that
Oh.
email and I got it on the stream. You could probably see my face. I was like, got it back.
I'm gonna need a minute.
Yeah, basically. So there's that, and that's really it. Just grinding it out. Otherwise, no other huge projects. Just the podcast, I guess. Trying to sort out what's happening with that.
Cool.
Yeah, that's very exciting, man.
It is.
I am really looking forward to your new projects related to the other YouTube channel, especially in times like this where playing Gwent is not as enjoyable as it used to be for the time being. And yeah, because you joined TRS, and I feel you might be watching. Any projects related to Gwent that you would like to engage in?
Damn. Well, I wouldn't call it a project, but I think I'll definitely make it a priority to actually get into the top 500, top 200 perhaps in pro, because I don't get any time to grind at the moment. So I play in my off time, and I always make it to almost top 500, and I don't get to play that 8 hours. It's like 3 hours here and there. So actually, maybe going to some Challenger or Open next year, I think that is kind of on my list of priorities at the moment. Gwent related, of course.
That will be absolutely amazing to have you on one of the tournaments.
That'd be really cool.
If it's possible.
First, we need to get the tournaments.
Yeah.
First the tournament, then they will come. That's the mentality.
Yeah. Oyerfeldi, when we'll have a quadruple suit stream? Guys, let's make it a promise. If we get Jason Slam on the show, we all suit up.
100% suits confirmed.
BJ,
Yes,
you are in the
decide
chat. Please confirm. Are we gonna do that? If we get Slam on here,
I don't think he wears a suit, though,
confirmed.
does he? He didn't wear a suit in our
We'll
video we got.
we'll put enough pressure on him to wear a suit.
It's got to happen. We need a full suit stream. I won't let the side down next time, I promise.
There's a question in chat from Woody that I wanted to touch on.
Okay.
He says, do you struggle to be motivated to play Gwent at the moment when there's no progression on the table? Which we kind of talked about a bit before. But it's just kind of, I guess, a more direct question. Like, personally, a little bit, as someone who, like, kind of likes to get into pro rank, but, like, honestly, I don't have it in me just to grind it out to get to top whatever. Like, I get to pro rank, sweet, I'm good. So, like, it has been a bit, so I've been playing a lot of Arena recently, and Arena is really fun.
It is, I
Yeah.
can confirm.
It
Arena's
is.
great.
Another question, guys. Do you think any big old Gwent streamers will ever come back? And I think we can expand this. Like, which streamers do you would like to come back? I can only tell you that there's a really big streamer I contacted regarding appearance on this podcast. Haven't heard anything yet. Who knows? I think the Lion knows who I'm talking about.
Saying nothing. Saying nothing.
But yeah, guys, anyone you would like to see playing Gwent again?
I know it's not coming back. I was gone for a year. Apparently, JJ passed out.
JJ Pasak.
Ooh, hot take.
Oh, that's a really
ironic.
Yeah, that's a hot take.
He's the first one who, like, when I streamed for 2 weeks in beta before my internet hit the fan. Basically, we're suing them now. By the way, the internet company. And JJ Pasak just raided me, and I had like 4 people watching, and suddenly his entire community. So I thought he was this really nice guy, but apparently there's been a lot of drama. He doesn't stream Gwent anymore, and don't really know what happened.
Big
I don't
oof.
know.
Yes, lots of
Yeah.
It's probably the way you could put it.
Yeah, it'd be good to see some of the big people come back. I think it depends. Like some of the ones like Mogwai and Alias V and all of those who moved on to Magic, I never see them coming back, which is a shame. I know
Magic.
people had different takes on like Mogwai. I love the guy. I know he was. Some people loved him, some people didn't enjoy his streams, but big personalities are good for the game, right?
For sure.
So I can't see players like that coming back, which is a shame. It's a real shame.
Yeah, I guess some people, they do the time and they move on, and that's fine. It's just happens. It'd be nice to have some people back, but I'm too young to know anyone, so.
Gwent 2.0 player.
Dude, yeah, exactly. Everyone I knew play Gwent still plays.
Unfortunately, that's not the case for me. Like,
I have one. I want to see Woody come back. He's in chat. Woody, I want you back, man.
Woody.
Make Woody Gwent again.
I need you back. I need my 80s.
Personally, a lot of streamers who were doing Gwent content when I got into the game are now gone. They're playing other things or just quit streaming altogether.
Yeah, or they don't stream.
Mogwai, KBT was like a really solid choice for me to watch. Like, I especially would like his YouTube videos. Learned a lot from his stuff. Alias, of course, like. Absolutely loved her streams. And one smaller streamer that I'm kind of missing is always Turtle. I think Lionheart knows her
Turtle was
too.
lovely.
Turtle was just so fun to watch.
Yeah.
She didn't move to another game. She just stopped streaming because of real life responsibilities.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. No.
Guys, do we have...
Happens, I guess.
There's another question from Mythic in chat. As a previous Hearthstone player, I noticed that Gwent doesn't have much to offer when it comes to single-player content. Is there a reason why? And do you guys think it's viable for CDPR to spend money and resources creating more content? Do you mean like a single-player campaign, almost more Thronebreaker style?
Thronebreaker. Ah, damn.
It may possibly mean like Hearthstone has their like the dungeon run format where it's kind of like a roguelike kind of style. You make decks and fight bosses and do whatever. I would love to see stuff like that in Gwent. That'd be cool. It's like things inside of Gwent that you don't need to do like a different game or something. Like mini Thronebreakers, like 1 hour long with like a new expansion.
We actually
like
used to have
more
them.
on the expansion. That'd be great.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that when we covered the topic of CDPR initiatives, but we actually had those kind of mini games back in the day. When a new sort of expansion would drop, we would get a mini game.
Love that. That'd be so cool.
It was
Just
like
give
a
lore.
it was
some
like
lore,
a
give some context.
mini campaign that you would get to play within Gwent, because I think a lot of players didn't really distinguish between like, Thronebreaker and Gwent. Like they bought Thronebreaker and they thought they're gonna play Gwent. It's like wait, it's not it's Gwent, but it's not Gwent. Like how does it work? Why do I need two separate clients? Stuff like that. It was really confusing for a lot of people.
Yeah, I was confused by it. I was like, huh?
And that's why you see people like Thea just streaming Thronebreaker within the Gwent directory, because it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
You have these games separated.
Yeah.
Well,
it didn't need to be, did it? It should have been an additional mode in Gwent that you could unlock.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you can buy from Shoop, my logic was just it's Gwent. I don't care if it's called something else. But again, it's all about the community. Nobody would even know I was streaming Thronebreaker if it wasn't in a different Twitch section, you know.
Yeah.
And no one seemed to complain. It was fun.
I think Weevil is pretty on point. The game needs more to do besides grinding a ladder.
we agree.
Yeah, that's a very good point by
all the modes in Gwent are just Gwent, right? Like some single player stuff, some just anything that's something to do different. Like again, Hearthstone, like Tavern Brawl is just random, just do whatever. Like Battlegrounds, say what you will about it, it's something completely different, and you can just do it, and you don't have to play ladder. You know,
Yeah.
just
we need more
things that are different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay,
seasonal
guys.
was really just Gwent.
Yeah, it's just a take on Gwent, which is fine for a while, but you still need something else.
Yeah,
I
like,
agree.
like
Yeah.
Blitz was essentially play Gwent by faster.
Yeah.
Blitz was anxiety.
And it was cool.
creating. Like, oh my god.
Like streaming and playing Blitz was really, really difficult.
It's so hard. But one of my favourite experiences was watching Shin Miri play Blitz.
Oh yeah.
Resident Roper trying to play 8-second Blitz was my
I mean, we are all
favourite thing
ropers. If you are a streamer, you are a roper. That's just
Yeah,
how
it's
it
true.
is.
It's true.
You have to divide your attention between your opponent and the chat. But I don't really see any more relevant questions from chat, so I think we can move on to the plugs segment.
Okay.
Tia, where can our viewers find you?
I'm just searching for a plug on my. Well, I can't. It's okay. I'll make you imagine it. Where can the viewers find me? Well, yeah, it's just TheaBeasty on Twitch if you want to see me play Gwent. Yeah, that's about it. Honestly, I don't have any sites or anything I'm working on at the moment. Like I said, maybe one day you can buy The Marked. You'll see my name on it. That's about it. And yeah, follow Weissenberg, of course. It's a great podcast. And I thank you for having me, Weissenberg. Great opportunity to talk about some crucial elements of Gwent.
You're welcome. It was amazing to have you here. Zade.
Thanks.
Luco Zada.
It's your turn, my friend.
It's my turn. Well, I went in a rampage of making all of my like // the same, so you can just go / Zaid_95 in Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter, and it's all the same for convenience. But not the second YouTube channel. You need more subscribers, so there's like 10 random characters on that one. But yeah, again, it's also thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna butcher your name. You probably every time you hear me say your name on Twitch, you're probably like, God, he's destroying it.
There is no proper way of pronouncing it. It's a made up name. You don't need to worry about that.
Okay, because I would say it as Weissenberg, which
That's
is
fine.
a very New
That's
Zealandy way to say
And that's
something.
fine. I really like the way Tia pronounces it because it's very, very Dutch.
It sounds very
Weissenberg.
authentic. I heard that, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, that's right. I thought that would be it. You would pronounce it like a hard R, a G as in
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is actually correct.
Weissenberg.
So me calling Gulo Gulox. You'll never get
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
poor uncle.
We all did that. Come on.
No, Gulo Gulo.
Gulox. Gulox
Gulo.
too, man. I thought he was
No.
pulling my leg. I really did.
No, it's
Yeah.
Gulo.
When I first met him, I was calling him Gulux as well.
Yeah, right.
Me
Now
too.
it's just Uncle Gulo,
Uncle
He's
Gulo.
pranking me.
and enjoying
No,
his
it's not.
enjoying his pension, having all the time to watch streams.
Old
Great
man
guy,
Gwent.
great guy. Like I have to say, he's a great father figure for TRS. We needed somebody like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He actually
Oh.
answers my questions if I ask.
I wish he was my dad. too.
Lionheart, my dear friend, my good man.
Hello, hello.
Your time to sell
Yes.
out.
You can find me on /Lionheart on Twitch. Twitter is, if you search for Lionheart, you will inevitably find me. I am absolutely nowhere else. It has been a pleasure as always. Weisenberg, I will just call you WB as usual. Appreciate it. It's been a really fun podcast, guys. So thank you very much for joining us. It's been really cool. Had a really good time.
Okay, guys, I don't need to promote my own channel because you are already here. But if you wanna watch or rewatch the episode on YouTube, you just type !social. You get all the links to my social media. And if you would be so nice to follow us on Twitter, type !podcast. You'll see the link to our Twitter account at Novigrad Podcast, our Discord, where we actually make the announcements a couple of days prior to Reddit and Twitter. So if you'd like to get that kind of exclusivity, you can join our Discord. Looking at you, Zaid.
Hands up.
Got to put us in a folder somewhere.
Yeah, I got a folder ready actually.
Guys, thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Amazing episode, despite having like no actual content in Gwent.
We did it, guys.
Marriages
Yeah.
of positivity, mission accomplished. I would say.
pretty well, I
And chat, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here with us.
Cheers,
Thank you for asking questions. I hope we answered all of them. And yeah, we're gonna rate somebody in a couple of seconds. Don't know who yet. That's up to our guests, I guess. And you guys, once again, thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. It's gonna be a special episode. I think we can leak it, right, Lionheart? Because we'll have all the 4 merchants on the show, so no special guests. It will just be us. So me, Lionheart, Baby Jones, and Villa, and we're gonna talk about this year in Gwent, our plans for the future, and maybe some preview of season 2 of our show.
Yeah.
Wholesome.
We'll have the roadmap to discuss.
Exactly.
Imagine
Hopefully.
actual content in Gwent.
Okay, guys.
Here
Once
we
again,
go.
thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys later. Have a great Saturday.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye-bye.